sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Wisconsin.
Well, just in case you couldn't make it up with us last night, it was a dandy. The Brewers jumped out early, 6-0, and then hung on to win. One of the great plays of the year turned in by Travis Shaw, cutting down Molina. The Brewers played excellent defense last night. It got to a one-run game. There were 2 rain delays before Corey Knebel closed it out, striking out Dexter Fowler, and back-to-back wins in St. Louis for Milwaukee. So now we're set up for tonight's game. It's the Brewers and the Cardinals, Game 4 of this series. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from Busch Stadium. Great to have you with us tonight. Brewers are trying for the series win. They won a series against the Cardinals earlier this year. And Rock trying to make it 3 out of 4, and they've got Zach Davies on the mound tonight.
Yeah, and he better go deep into the game because this Brewers bullpen, although they have 9 guys out there, a little bit thin, particularly winning scenario guys. But Zach, after starting 0-2, is 7-1, doing a pretty good job keeping the opponent off the scoreboard. One of the reasons the win-loss record is what it is, he's been getting a lot of run support, 6th best in the National League, over 6 runs a game. Hopefully that continues. He has thrown much better. Earned run average continues to go down, but right now I think Craig Counsell looking for him to manage that pitch count and get deep into tonight's game.
There are so many terrific stories with the first-place Milwaukee Brewers this year. One of them that is emerging is Corey Knebel, first-year closer, dominating. He had a great night last night in an inning and a third. Sophia has more with Knebel after this.
Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. By Cupie and Abraham, voted best, rated best. Cupie and Abraham, tell them you mean business. And by Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. The Brewers have won 2 straight against their division rivals, the St. Louis Cardinals. Now they go for the series win. We're getting ready for first pitch here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sophia Minard. And the Brewers, what they've been able to do in the first inning, getting big runs, well, it's also been a big story of how they're closing out the games and how efficient Corey Knebel has been in the closer role since he took over for Ned Phillies in the middle of May. Knebel is on a special kind of run. He is closing in on history. He has gone 33 straight games with at least 1 strikeout. That is second best in all of baseball history. 37 is the streak for Aroldis Chapman. So Knebel has gone unscored upon in his last 6 appearances. Last night he picked up his 10th save of the season, giving Craig Counsell 4 outs. Counsell spoke about how effective Knebel has been and how last night was a special one for Corey for how he had to grind it out.
You know, I think last night the misses weren't bad. He was close to the zone, and you just kind of got to grind through it. And you know, when you go 3-0 to a couple of hitters, you're gonna have to come kind of right at somebody and throw some pitches in the big part of the plate and let him hit it. And that's tough to do in a one-run game. But Corey was still able to navigate it, make quality pitches, and yeah, I mean, that's just it was a little bit different how last night worked for him, but another way he was able to navigate through an inning and do it impressively.
Corey Knebel was busy this afternoon with actor and comedian George Lopez. What were the two discussing? We'll tell you about it coming up next here from Busch Stadium. First pitch will be Zach Davies and Michael Wacha on the mound, and it was a busy afternoon for some of the Brewers. Earlier today, they had a special guest, actor and comedian George Lopez, on hand to spend some time with both Corey Knebel and Matt Garza, not asking about advice on how to pitch, maybe how to throw a curveball from Corey Knebel, but talking baseball superstitions. He has a new show, Very Superstitious, coming up on A&E Network. So Lopez spent some time with both Knebel and Garza and shared with me what he learned from the two guys about baseball superstitions. And George, you were just talking to Corey Knebel, Matt Garza about baseball superstitions. What'd you learn from two of our guys?
I learned that, I'm still trying to figure out the origins of this one, but no pitcher steps on the line. I even said in celebration, what if somebody, tagged you and you managed to clip the line and said, I'd go back and jump over it. So we'd like to find out if anybody knows the origin of that superstition, pitchers crossing the line, never touching it, contact Sophia. But aside from that, guys eat the same food. Corey listens to the same song every day. Matt has Popeyes every start. So, I mean, those are tame. uses the same shower, puts his clothes on the same thing, the left clothes are on the left, retires the glove and the shoes after each season, gives them back to his high school. So between all of that, there's enough to keep a guy busy.
And what is it just about baseball in particular and superstitions that kind of inspired this conversation with these guys?
Well, you know, I was a superstitious person growing up, and my grandmother was, and I think it just started to think about baseball and seeing the guys and them writing names and numbers on their gloves and all those things. And Wade Boggs way back ate like lemon chicken every day for years, and you know that it transfers culturally, you know, that it transfers to people, and it's been going on since, you know, the beginning of time, I'm realizing. So all of that went into this show we call Very Superstitious.
And what are some of your superstitions? You said you used to be, or maybe you still are, a superstitious person.
I'm into the thing right now when I perform, it's all black. I wasn't all black. I used to be white with different ties. It's all black now. And I tie each shoe twice. I use the same belt. And if I don't have that belt, I'm not sure what I do. But I don't use a belt, and then I'm tugging out my pants. But I'm using 2 suits right now. I would not bring another suit in to use other than those 2. So those are my superstitions.
George Lopez threw out the first pitch here at Busch Stadium. Michael Wacha prepared for his start. He's facing Zach Davies and the Brewers. Davies will be facing the Cardinals for the 3rd time this season. We've got first pitch coming up next here at Busch Stadium.
Tonight's game on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Final game of the series, 90 degrees. Humidity's up a little bit. Brian Anderson, Bill Schroeder, Sophia Minert. Tonight's game being produced by Dan Keener and directed by Adam Bryant III. Craig Counsell and the crew looking for a series win here tonight. They'll need a win to do that. Trying to take 3 out of 4 from the Cardinals before returning home for a homestand beginning tomorrow against San Diego. Here's Counsell's Potawatomi batting order tonight. He's got Eric Sogard back in the leadoff spot. Eric Thames at second. Domingo Santana in the 3-hole. In the middle goes Travis Shaw, Hernan Perez, and Jet Bandy. And the bottom 3, Keon Broxton, Orlando Arcia, and Zach Davies on the mound. And that's the batting order, Rock. That's going to face another change-up pitcher in Michael Wacha.
Yeah, 5th year with the Cardinals. He was a #1 pick for the Cardinals back in 2012. Was in the big leagues the very next year. He's 3-1 at home this year. Very good numbers here at Busch Stadium. .295 earned run average. 4-0 against the Brewers in 7 career starts.
Menard's Cardinals defense. They have Jose Martinez in left. Fowler gets a call in center with Piscotty in right. That's their everyday outfield now. Jerko, Diaz, DeYoung gets the start at second base as the Cardinals place Colton Wong on the disabled list. Matt Carpenter at first with Molina, the perennial Gold Glove Award winner, behind the plate catching Waka. That's how the Cardinals line them up. And we're ready for baseball tonight. Beautiful night for the game. Michael Waka's first pitch is in there for a strike, and away we go. Sogard leading the way for the Crew, coming in with a gaudy .354 batting average. Sogard is playing in his 28th game for the Brewers here tonight. Pretty good sample size to keep those kind of numbers together.
Yeah, it just seems that he has a knack for getting on base, whether it's a base hit, a walk. On base 3 times yesterday, and Brewers just continue to win games with Sogard in the lineup.
Yesterday, the Brewers scored twice in the first inning. After Sogard had reached, Eric Thames hit a home run. They continue their trend of early scoring in games. Matter of fact, no team in the big leagues has scored more runs in the first inning than the Brew Crew. Thames has found a spot in that 2-hole. He has 17 homers this year, and Eric Thames is just 2 off the National League lead. Sogard pulls one foul. You always want a good start, but it might be even more imperative tonight with the state of the bullpen right now. The Brewers, you would imagine, are going to shut down a couple of guys down there. You figure Jacob Barnes and Corey Knebel would both be only in an emergency scenario. They have worked a great deal during this series with St. Louis. That included a doubleheader, by the way.
Yeah, Craig Counsell's gone into a lot of games lately, hoping that he doesn't have to use either one of those guys. But Brewers are a victim of their own success in just about every game.
1-2 pitch. Sogard takes a ball down and in. That does put a little pressure on the offense. It certainly puts pressure on the starting pitcher. But maybe tonight Davies will have that breakout game. He's been hovering around the edges of those breakout games, still pitching well and winning games as Sogard pops this one up. Jerko's under it, and the game starts with a pop up to third for Michael Waka. There's the crew chief, Laz Diaz. He's the one that'll take us to a replay review if need be. Home plate umpire Corey Blazer calling the balls and strikes, and Doug Eddington, Chris Segal on the bases with Laz.
It's been a long few days for those guys as well, those umpires.
Have played a lot of baseball indeed. We had a doubleheader, day-night doubleheader on Tuesday, and then yesterday 2 rain delays. Game did not end until just after midnight. A 44-minute rain delay and then a 1-hour rain delay last night. And the Brewers were victorious. Good win for the Crew in game 3 of this series as Thames pulls one foul. Eric had 2 hits, drove in 3 runs last night, including home run number 17. One of 3 left-handed hitters in the batting order for the Brewers. 3 of the top 4 hitters, as a matter of fact. And Waka strikes him out. 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Thames is gone. Tonight we are participating in the Home Run Challenge. Every home run and strikeout, by the way, raises money for prostate cancer research. Since June 1st, over $3.3 million has been raised in the challenge. You can make a pledge right now by going to homerunchallenge.org. Brewers hope to get on the home run wagon again tonight.
Yeah, able to jump all over the Cardinals in the first couple innings. 6 runs. 6 of the 7 runs scored last night.
Brewers had 3 home runs in the nightcap of the doubleheader on Tuesday night, and then last night Thames with the home run. Cardinals got a home run from Aledmus Diaz. That was that 8th inning shot that brought the Cardinals within a run. Santana, a big swing and a miss. 1-2 the count.
Yeah, Waka can get it up there at about 95, 96 miles an hour. He's got a good changeup. 89 to 90 and a cutter. Every now and again, he's going to throw a curveball, but not too often.
Changeups figure to be the story tonight with Zach Davies and Michael Wacha. Wacha has a much bigger fastball, and there is the fastball, and Santana, he is gone. 96-mile-an-hour heat. 3 up, 3 down with a couple of Ks, and now Davies on the mound in St. Louis. Cardinals are coming up. Mike Matheny, St. Louis skipper. They got some decisions to make with the Cardinals. They're trying to figure out if they are a team that can contend this year. Cardinal fans don't want to hear any notion of selling and acquiring young talent, but the Cardinals might be in that position. We'll see how the next month goes. Potawatomi batting order. Matt Carpenter's back in the leadoff spot. 9th consecutive game there. Dexter Fowler, then Stephen Piscotty. It goes Jerko, Molina, and Diaz in the middle. And then Matheny's got Martinez, DeYoung, and Wacha rounding out the starting 9. That'll face Zach Davies. Davies ready to go. 7 wins, a 4.34 ERA. The Brewers score a lot of runs for Zach Davies, at least so far this season.
Yeah, 6 career start against the Cardinals. He's 2-0, 281 earned run average. He's won his last 2. Last time out against the Diamondbacks, 4 runs, 5 innings, and an 8-6 victory.
Let's see the run support for Davies. Currently 6th in the major leagues or in the National League. Yeah, Brewers would love to keep that trend going here tonight. Keep that run support in place, especially with a bullpen that's a little fatigued here tonight. Brewers are very mindful of their relief pitchers, especially those as Carpenter lines one into right center field. Santana can't see it, and it one hops off the fence. And Matt Carpenter continues to hammer Brewer pitching in this series. Well, he's been the one guy that the Brewers have not found an answer for.
Every time he swings the bat, he's hitting a line drive somewhere. This one in the gap, the sun in the eyes of Domingo Santana. Not that he would have had to play anyway, but another line drive for Carpenter. Yeah, 3 guys that Davies has to be aware of. Carpenter, Piscotty's hit him well, and Jed Jerko 9 for 13 career against Zach Davies.
That's a 9-game hitting streak for Carpenter, and in this series he has 7 hits. He's 7 for 12. He's at second to start it. Dexter Fowler now, who made the final out in last night's game, which was a strikeout, which was significant for Corey Knebel because he keeps his strikeout streak alive. Knebel, the new Brewers closer, with that strikeout, has now had at least 1 K in each of his last 34 appearances this year. And the last 2 saves he's gotten, it's come down to the last hitter to get that strikeout.
And last night it was an inning and a third. He got the final out in the 8th inning after the rain delay.
So that streak is the 2nd longest exclusively as a reliever to start a season. And Aroldis Chapman is the record holder at 37. And quite a run for Corey Knebel. Inning and a third last night to save it.
And all the games that he's been in, the velocity has not wavered at all. I mean, 98 miles an hour. The curveball is a big pitch for him last night. Well, he has handled that closer's role beautifully.
Notched his 10th save last night, did Knebel. Davies misses away. 2-2 the count on Fowler. Always a good on base percentage player. He's been a leadoff hitter most of his career and came to St. Louis to be the leadoff hitter, but that has changed over the last 9 days. Carpenter now leading off, Fowler hitting second. And it's been a pretty good formula for St. Louis. It certainly has for Carpenter, who's hit in all 9 of those games, including a double to get us started here tonight.
Yep, and Fowler's been better. Middle of the lineup for Mike Matheny has been in a bit of a flux.
3-2 pitch. Back up the middle. It hits Davies. He throws to first to get the out. And let's see if that one shook him up a little bit. Fowler's retired. That's a pretty good play over there by Thames. Remember, he's staring into the sliver of setting sun between the grandstands. He almost lost that one in the sun. Ouch.
Yeah, able to knock it down. Not sure how hard it was hit, but Thames able to make a nice play on the catch at first base. A one hopper. Carpenter able to get to third base, but Davies able to get the out.
Fortunate.
Let's check out the Menards Brewers defense. You got Perez, Broxton, Santana, Shaw, Arcia, Sogard, and Thames. The only change from last night, Jed Bandy behind home plate.
Eric Thames back at first base. He's played a lot of left field in the absence of Ryan Braun. Sophia's got a report on Ryan Braun coming shortly. We'll find out how the Brewer slugger's coming along. Hoping to get him back soon. Piscotty fouls that one away. Gotta give this team a lot of credit, though. They're playing well without Braun, and you can't expect them to keep that kind of trend going, but you know, they've had their moments. Just when you thought their offense was down and they had 3 games where they hardly scored, they have answered in the last 2 games with a ton of hits, timely hits, those tack-on runs late in games, which are so important.
We keep saying that they can't really afford to be without Ryan Braun too long and still score runs, but they have. Last night, 5 for 9 with runners in scoring position. They're doing it in a lot of different ways, and these guys just continue to win games. The only team in the division last night to win.
7 runs on 12 hits last night for the Brewers. A swing and a miss by Piscotty takes a count to 1-2. Yeah, everybody in the division lost last night, which means the Brewers open play today 2 up on the Cubs. The Brewers are the only team in the division over 500 right now. The Crew at 35 and 32. That's what it looks like opening play today. Cubs losing last night, letting a lead get away in New York against the Mets.
These guys just have fun. Doesn't matter who they're playing. They just play the same game.
Piscotty, that's through, a base hit, and the Cardinals are on the board. 2-strike RBI single for Stephen Piscotty, and it's 1-0 St. Louis.
Yeah, Piscotty has really been scuffling. He's been behind the fastball, ahead of the breaking stuff. This time an off-speed pitch from Davies, able to find the hole with the drawn-in infield. That changeup that was up in the strike zone, Piscotty able to get it enough of it to sneak it into left field.
So it is the Cardinals that strike first tonight. 2 hits in the inning against Davies. And here comes Jed Jerko. Jerko has settled in now as the everyday third baseman. His 45th start at third base. Remember, Johnny Peralta was getting some time there. They have released Johnny Peralta. And that's a big player to lose. Not that he was performing at the level he had been in recent years, but he was a big clubhouse presence and a guy that, you know, kind of organized and quarterbacked in the clubhouse. It's always best coming from players as opposed to managers and coaches, and that was a tough decision for Matheny and company.
A veteran guy that embraces the leadership role, kind of an all no business kind of guy in that clubhouse.
Jerko into center field, a base hit. Piscotty's going to turn and stop around second, and the third hit of the inning, and the Cardinals are trying to make this a big start to the night against Zach Davies.
Boy, did Jerko against Zach Davies, now 10 for 14. That's incredible. And pitch out away from him, and for whatever reason he sees the ball well against Davies and dumps one in front of Broxton out there in center.
He's had a good year. He's been their best hitter. Just slipped under 300 for a batting average in this series. He's been one of their best run producers behind Carpenter. So it's first and second with one out, and Yadier Molina is coming up, and Davies already in grind mode, trying to get that double play ball to get him out of this first inning. Molina does bounce into a lot of double plays. He's grounded into 8 this year. That leads the Cardinals.
In order to get that ground ball, Zach's got to get the baseball down, particularly the changeup. Been leaving that one up in its zone.
Breaking ball that time. Molina out in front, committed early, and a swing and a miss. 1-1 the count.
And take a lot off that curveball, 73 miles an hour. A key pitch for Davies, the changeup down and the curveball for strikes.
Don't get much expression out of Davies. He's a cool customer on the mound. Keeps those cards close to the vest, which is a good place to be. That's another sweeping curveball. Nice. It's a good pitch for him. He's found something maybe.
Been an inconsistent pitch for Zach, but those last two very good. Big breakers straight down and out of the strike zone.
2 on, a run is in. 1 man out in this first inning. Molina comes in hitting .257. On base percentage of .294. He's a free swinger. He doesn't walk much. And he lines one to center. Base hit. Broxton's got it on a hop. They will hold the runner around third. And Piscotty hustles back. Now they got to play at second base. There's an out. Throw to third. Back is Piscotty. Boy, that is a break for the Brewers, as Jet Jerko runs into an out.
Keon Broxton does the right thing, and he hits the cutoff man. And the Cardinals with a big mistake, a base running blunder. Jet Jerko around the bag a little bit too much. There you see him right there, and the Brewers do a good job in the rundown. Nobody able to advance.
8-3 to 6 on the putout for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, 3 consecutive curveballs. Molina, he's seen that before and able to dump that one into center field.
So 2 gone. Here is Aledmys Diaz now. I was a little surprised they didn't send Piscotty.
Yeah.
He got a little bit of a late start, but it's a big outfield here in St. Louis, and most get the send in a spot like that, especially with an early lead.
Right, it's all about getting a good read off the bat. Piscotty apparently did not, and that's why they held him. And Broxton got to it quickly and made a good throw.
There's a great lesson in there, kids. Hit your cutoff man. Sometimes you can steal an out. The other lesson in there is to make sure your head's up when you're running the bases to see what the base runner ahead of you is doing.
And that's not just a lesson for kids. That's big leaguers too. Hit the cutoff man. How many times do we not see that?
Aledmys Diaz down 0-2. If Davies can get out of here with just 1 run, that will be a small victory for him as he misses outside. Diaz hit one of the more impressive home runs you'll see last night in a driving rainstorm. With the Cardinals down 3, he hit a 2-run home run off Jacob Barnes, hit a line shot just inside the foul pole down the left field line.
And 1 strike away was Barnes from a scoreless inning. The cutter on a 2-2 count. And check this out. Up in the zone, and he lines it. And the question is it going to hook foul? It didn't. Went straight down the line and got the Cardinals to within 1 run.
And as soon as he stepped on home plate, they brought the tarp out for the second rain delay last night. 1-2 the count to the Cardinal shortstop. 1st and 3rd. And a foul ball. Count stays at a ball and 2 strikes.
And last thing Craig Counsell wants to see is a high pitch inning, especially in the first. And pushing 30 pitches, and we're in inning number 1. He needs some length out of Davies.
One and 2 the count. A little roller. Thames lays out, can't find the handle. Diaz is safe. A run scores. There you go from a good break to a bad break. On a little squibber in the perfect spot for an RBI, an infield hit for Diaz.
Yep, right off the end of the bat. It was a good pitch by Davies. I'm not sure Sogard would have been able to get there. I think if he gets it the first time and doesn't bobble it, I think he might have a play at first. You can see where Sogard is. Check him out. He was behind second base. A little bobble, that's all it took. Base hit and a run in.
2-0 Cardinals on 5 first inning hits. And here is Jose Martinez. He's hit a couple of home runs in this series, both of those in the same game in game 1 on Tuesday. Davies now 30 pitches in this first inning.
Always seems to be a 1 inning in a game where he gives up a fair amount of runs. Last time out against Arizona, gave up a 3 spot in the first inning.
Ground ball foul. 2-1. Just not seeing the swings and misses outside of those 2 curveballs that Molina missed. There's been a lot of contact and hard contact against Davies. He's fighting out there. He's trying to find something that'll work. Made a good pitch to Diaz, but it found the right spot, and the inning continues. Tough way to start a night. High number of pitches coming out of the bullpen to start the game. 2-1 now. 2-2.
And you can say that's a cheap hit, but the one thing you can say though is that Diaz is a guy that is not easily struck out. And you make contact on a ball like that. A lot of guys are going to swing and miss. He puts it in play, gives himself a chance. He gets a hit and drives in a run.
Davies shaking off a couple of times. Got the one he wants now. Big pitch early. 2-2 misses. You heard Craig Counsell in our Brewers Live pregame tell Sophia that it's all about fastball command for Davies. He doesn't have an overpowering fastball, but what makes him good is that he can throw that fastball when he's right wherever he wants, especially on that side of the plate to a right-hander. He's got that comeback sinker, and when he's not hitting those spots, it can make for a long inning. Full count. 2 outs, runners will go. And a shot right at Sogard, who bobbles, recovers, throws in time to get him. That was close.
I'll tell you what, was Thames' foot on the bag when he caught it? I'm not sure.
This is going to go to review potentially. Let's see. Cardinals are taking a look at this one as well.
Throws off the mark. Is his foot on the bag? Hard to tell right there. Can't tell on that angle, but Mike Matheny wants to take a look at it.
No, and Matheny waves it off, so he didn't see enough there, and the Brewers fortunate. Good catch by Thames. The inning is over. Only 2 scored despite 5 first inning hits.
Second inning, and Miami hosts the 88th annual Midsummer Classic. That's Tuesday, July 11th, only on Fox, and you can make sure your local stars play a leading role by filling out your All-Star Game ballot filled with Brewers. Vote up to 5 times a day and 35 times total at brewers.com/vote.
Travis Shaw will lead off for the Brewers. Down 2-0 to the Cardinals to get this game started. It's a tough spot to be in, to feel like you're fortunate to be down 2-0, but that's, I think, what it calls for after that first inning. That could have gone quickly south for Zach Davies. Shaw pulls one foul.
Yeah, the base running mistake by Jed Jerko really helped Davies, maybe saved him 2 runs. It's amazing how Jerko sees the baseball against Davies. I mean 10 for 14. It's hard to do that in batting practice.
Right. Against a coach throwing 60 miles an hour.
Right.
Roll over a ground ball to second, and DeYoung, just arriving to the big leagues, makes the play for the out. Cardinals had to put Colton Wong on the disabled list. Remember, he left the game yesterday with a forearm injury. Today it was stated as a right tricep strain, so I don't know how it went from a forearm injury to a tricep strain, but that's what it was.
Yeah.
DeYoung is only 23 years of age, made his major league debut just a few weeks ago, as a matter of fact, in Colorado. Actually hit a home run in his first at bat, so he got 12 games in the big leagues, was sent down, and he's right back up. Hernan Perez with one away. Coming in batting .277. Perez has 5 hits in the series now. He's driven in a run. Talk about a guy climbing out of a deep early season hole with the batting average. He's just been steady for a while now. He's on a 6-game hitting streak currently, with 8 hits during that streak and 4 RBIs.
And with his approach at the plate, you knew that wasn't going to last. You get out of the gates a little bit slow, out of spring training. I know everybody likes to blame the WBC, but I think it applies where Perez didn't get a whole lot of at-bats in spring. Got off to a slow start, but that ended quickly.
Played for Venezuela in the WBC. That ball's ripped, but right at the shortstop Diaz. And on the fly makes a catch for out number 2.
Now we're talking to Tim McCarver during the rain delay. Their analyst over on the television side with the Cardinals. He, Tim, very popular, famous, network broadcaster, actually on Fox, and
Hall of Famer.
He was really talking really well about Hernan Perez, asking a lot of questions. He says he seems like he knows what he's doing out there. That's exactly what Craig Counsell says about Perez. He says he has a high baseball IQ.
That's high praise. And that's, when you talk about Perez as Bandy takes a strike, for others to notice that just by watching, Tim McCarver hasn't been on the field to talk to Hernan Perez. He's just observing how he's playing. And I can't imagine a better thing to say about a guy. If you're a player and you're getting that kind of compliments, it's one thing coming from us because we see him every day, but you could tell he's got a great feel for the game, great sense for the game, good base runner, makes the right plays, can play all over the field.
Matter of fact, McCarver had a lot of good things to say about everybody on the ball club. He says, I like your team. And he's seen a few teams.
Yes, he has. Great Cardinal. He was sharing some Bob Uecker stories last night during the rain delay. Not a bad gig to kill a rain delay with a little time with Tim McCarver.
Right.
He and Uecker were roommates.
Caught Bob Gibson, Steve Carlton. I mean, he's seen some of the greats.
And of course, as a television baseball analyst, one of the best that's ever done it. Long career in that role, which earned him the Ford C. Frick Award. Hall of Fame broadcaster is McCarver, working with Dan McLaughlin over there, Cardinals television. Uke's not on this trip. He'll be back on the air tomorrow night from Milwaukee. Walker deals a 3-2, and it's outside, ball 4. The first blemish for Walker, a 2-out Walker, and a man is on for Keon Broxton.
I like that. That's good. Yeah. That's on top of your game tonight.
That's my jam right there. Been saving that one for
months.
With
the cutter. I was getting ready to say he was going to miss with the cutter, but after you said that, I mean, how do you back that up?
After Jeff Grayson dropped the concerning Travis Shaw, the Walker Shaw, I figured we all needed to step our game up a little bit. High fly ball, deep left center, and Keon Broxton sends one way out of here. Wow. A bomb by Broxton, a 2-run shot. And the Brewers have tied this game at 2 on one of the longer home runs in Broxton's career.
Yeah, no kidding. I tell you, Dexter Fowler didn't even make a move toward the fence. 92 miles an hour, middle in, was a cutter, and Broxton hit it a ton. Wow. You talk about centering on one. Boy, he's seen the baseball better. Snapping out of that slump. He did that in Arizona, and that was about halfway up those bleachers.
Oh, the sound of that bat, of that ball off the bat. There's Arcia with a big swing and a miss.
Fowler barely moved after that baseball. He knew it.
You see a ball go up into those reaches. There's really a couple of guys that come to mind, and they're not Keon Broxton types. You see a ball hit that far into deep left center. I mean, you're thinking about like the Mark McGuires, the Matt Hollidays in this ballpark.
Albert Pujols.
Pujols, right. I mean, that ball was hammered.
Yeah.
One of the longest home runs he hit was soon after he dropped his hands. He changed his batting stance, and that was in Arizona. Hit one about 440 feet in Arizona to center field. And I asked him the next day, I said, Keon, I had no idea you had that kind of pop. And most guys go, I've hit a few. But his reaction was, I didn't either.
Yeah.
489-foot home run that was. The longest ever hit in this stadium, Rock.
There you go. And isn't the wind blowing in a little bit here? I don't know. It swirls here, so sometimes when you look at the flags, not necessarily, you know, how the ball is going to be affected by the wind, but let's put it this way: it wasn't wind aided.
Those are the kind you go back to the dugout and say, "Nah, I got jammed a little." 489 feet.
Yeah, no kidding.
The longest in the stadium's history. I think the longest at Miller Park still is 467. And now Waka missing to Arcia, the free swinging shortstop, in a 1-2 count.
Man, what a great job. 2 outs, nobody on, walk, home run. The Brewers bounce right off the mat after falling behind 2-0 after the first inning.
One and 2 on Arcia. Missed outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, Orlando is not a guy that walks often. He's a free swinger. He's been swinging the bat well for a while now, but this time Walker gets him to end the inning. Well, the longest home run we've seen this year, and the longest they have ever seen at Busch Stadium. Keon Broxton goes 489 to deep left center, 3/4 away up the bleachers, and it ties the game at 2 as we go to the home second. Best look to test their wit and grit on the fastest 2-mile track in NASCAR. It's the Monster Energy Cup Series from Michigan, sponsored by Outback Steakhouse. Coverage begins Sunday at 1 Central on FS1. Keon Broxton goes zoom, bombs one out of here.
Nice
2-run
easy
home
swing.
run.
I tell you, what a nice easy swing. Didn't overswing. Ball
Man.
about mid-high thigh, and see you later.
Every player, every hitter knows the longest home run he ever hit. They can recall, and every pitcher knows the longest home run he ever gave up.
Yep.
You can try it out. Ask people. Now, what was your longest home run?
I hit one off of Bill Wegman. It was in Anaheim. It was a grand slam against the Brewers when I was with the Angels.
Oh, nice. They still welcomed you back, huh?
It was measured at 442. I beat the big wheel that year by a foot.
Was that right? Lance Parrish.
Yeah, I think they were being nice to me.
I mean, it was an inexact science back then, but now they can measure it with precision. DeYoung at the plate, back in the big leagues, with Wong injured and Davies, who has new life, able to somehow work around 5 hits in the first inning. Cardinals made it out on the base paths. That was a big out with Jerko rounding second too far and scored only 2 runs despite the 5 hits. And Davies comes back with a strikeout to start his second inning.
Yeah, good curveball. What was your longest home run?
About 332 feet. By the way, the longest home run in Miller Park history, I said 467. I was wrong about that. It was 480. Now I remember.
Muscle.
Yeah, the muscle. Russell Branyan hit one 480 against Greg Maddux of all people. That was back in 2004.
He had a couple of the longest home runs in that ballpark. Our ballpark, I should say.
I know he has 2 that are in the 465, 467 range up there in the Dudek. Russell the Muscle. That gives you an idea. I mean, you're talking about one of the longer home runs,
right,
in any park, anywhere.
One of the longest this year in the big leagues, or maybe any time.
Waka takes a ball. Two balls and a strike on the Cardinal pitcher. Bouncing ball. Sogard ranging over. Throws on the run in time. Nice play. Made it look easy. And 2 men are out.
Yeah, Revere the Beard this upcoming Monday as the Brewers take on the division rival Pirates, and all fans in attendance get an Eric Dames Revere the Beard t-shirt courtesy of BP Come On Back Club. Tickets start at just $6 at brewers.com/highlife.
Top of the order. Here's Carpenter now with 2 away. Carpenter doubled and scored in the first inning. He hit a rope into right center. You can tell by the way the Brewers position their defense what the spray chart looks like for Matt Carpenter. A lot of pulled baseballs on the infield and the outfield. I mean, they have Broxton swung around into right center and Perez swung around into left center.
And you got Arcia way back out there into short right field.
For whatever reason, Carpenter has found his comfort zone back in the leadoff spot. Rolls over one this time, and the defense is there in place. And that's a 1-2-3 inning for Zach Davies. Good bounce back. Struggled in the first. Brewers got 2 in the second. We're all tied.
Broxton's big home run. The Brewers would like to get Ryan Braun back and his bat. So the scoop from the clubhouse, Ryan Braun is still on the disabled list with the calf injury, but it's been a very productive road trip for Braun in terms of his rehab. He was able to get on the field for the first time in Arizona, and he's made good progress while being here in St. Louis. Today was really more of a full day for Braun, as he was able to participate in live batting practice, taking balls live in left field. He was doing some fungo drill work with Eddie Cedar yesterday. So they were hopeful that they would get good feedback from Braun on how the afternoon went here today.
All right, Sophia, thank you. Good news on Braun, and he's hoping to get back in that lineup soon. Boy, that is a huge impact bat with the way the team's playing right now.
Yeah.
You add a Ryan Braun, that's like making a big deal without having to give up any players.
Yeah, it's been good. The offense has been good without him. You can only imagine what it's going to be when he comes back. But that's the thing. I mean, the controlled baseball activities is one thing. It's those quick burst starts and stops. Those are the things that are going to be a challenge for Braun. They're going to have to test him out with that before they take him off the DL.
Now Braun's going to be cautious this time around. I think he admitted even that he hustled back too soon first time around, as Sophia mentioned, and wants to make sure he's good for the long haul as Davies gets jammed. A bouncer over to Diaz for out number 1. Sophia's also active on the Keon Broxton muscle streak. What do you got down there, Sophia?
Well, this is a very calm shot of Keon, but it has been anything but that since he came in from his home run, 489 feet. Yeah, you can go ahead and flex a little bit after that one. Again, the new record here at Busch Stadium. He's feeling pretty good about himself, I think.
Well, Braun, you could see right there, you could read his lips. So Ryan must have been in the clubhouse because he came out, he told Keon that was the longest home run ever hit at Busch Stadium.
Yeah.
And then his reaction is great. And he's not a showboat guy at all. He's as good as it gets. So
they just have fun. They have fun down in the dugout. I mean, that's their sanctuary down there. They may play it pretty straight on the field, but they get into the dugout in the clubhouse. They can be who they want to be.
Yeah, he had some serious flexing down there between innings. Matter of fact, it's up on the Fox Wisconsin Twitter handle right now. Actually, the Brewers Twitter handle. I was just checking it out too.
But the thing is, I mean, it was a nice easy swing. I mean, it didn't overswing. This ball just jumped off his bat. Bat speed at the point of contact.
There's a little soft liner that's going to fall. A base hit from Sogard. So a 1-out single. Brewers have a man on. Sogard continues his hitting ways.
And one of the few curveballs that Walker will throw against the lefty Sogard. He left it up in his zone. That was a hanger, and Sogard able to fight it off into left field. You know, every hitter realizes, and they know, when you overswing, normally you're not going to have very good results. I mean, everybody knows that, but you know, it's just natural. When you get the count in your favor and you're feeling good at the plate, you try and overswing a little bit to hit the ball even harder, and it just goes in the reverse.
Well, now the real test for Broxton will be how he goes about his at-bats now that he's hit one that far. You're hoping he doesn't get out of his swing. Sometimes that happens. You get a little home run happy. I mean, why wouldn't you when you hit a ball that far? But you're hoping that's not the case.
I would imagine Darnell Coles at some point between these at-bats is going to tell him, now, do you realize how nice and easy you swung at that pitch? Mm-hmm. A coaching opportunity even after a guy just hit one to the next county.
Aaron Judge, by the way, has the longest home run this season of the Yankees. The terrific rookie hit one 495. And you almost expect that out of Aaron Judge. But for Keon Broxton, we'll call him wiry strong. And just so there's no mistake about how far Mark McGwire used to hit him, he had the longest home runs at the other Busch Stadium, Busch 2. He hit one 545 feet in 1998. Mark McGwire. That was the year of the home run. Of course, there was some PED discussion that year, and McGwire has admitted to usage, and take that for what it is. But to see a ball go 545 feet is something to behold.
Yeah.
pop up in foul territory. That's going to be out of play.
Yeah, we saw some majestic home runs by McGuire in the game. I mean, he did it all the time in batting practice. Big Mac land, that sign was there at the old ballpark, but it was even further away. And he'd launch him up there routinely in batting practice.
Pujols has taken out a few of those letters. Albert keeps hitting home runs, right? Over 600 home runs now. Playing with the Angels. 2-1 to count on Eric Thames. Runner at first, Sogard. Thames takes a ball up and away.
Yeah, it was good to get Pujols out of the National League. Don't have to deal with him much anymore. Matt Holliday with the Yankees. Now I got to figure out a way to get Matt Carpenter over to the American League. As much damage as he does against Milwaukee.
Hitters count for Thames. Takes a strike. A little wrinkle from Wacha. Flirting with the edges. Gets the call. Three balls, 2 strikes to count. Thames up there with 1 away. And there's ball 4. Second walk issued by Wacha. And now 2 men are on with 1 out. And Domingo Santana coming up. Now you're looking at 2 of the best home run hitters the Brewers have. Eric Thames on the Powerball home run leaderboard with 17. Santana and Shaw with 11. Perez and Broxton with 9 apiece.
And almost in that order in the batting order right now. So you got some thunder coming up for the Brewers in the middle of this batting order.
It's a visit by Derek Lilliquist, the pitching coach. An early visit to the mound.
And Walker's got a high pitch count. 56 pitches, 3rd inning.
Making start number 12. 8 of his 11 starts, he's gone at least 6 innings. Call 7 of those 8 quality starts, where you go at least 6 innings and 3 runs or fewer. Santana waits in the dirt. Boy, that missed badly. Molina with a nice block.
And not sure what it was. Maybe a curveball, and that bounced probably 2 feet in front of home plate. Look at this. Cut fastball.
Wacha started retiring the first 5 batters. He's had some trouble since. Santana a little half swing, and he goes, according to Laz Diaz. Unable to check it. 1-1 to count. It's kind of been the story for Wacha. He's had good starts 2 games. Got a 1.64 ERA in the first 2 innings of his starts this season. That ball's ripped into center field. A base hit. Sogard around third. He will score. And Santana breaks the 2-2 tie with an RBI single. 3-2 Brewers on Santana's 35th ribby of the season.
Yeah, mistake right there for Wacha. Fastball down the middle, 94 miles an hour, and a nice easy swing by Domingo Santana back into center field. Sogard reads it well. Dexter Fowler way deep in center field for Santana. He scores easily. Brewers just continue to square up some fastballs tonight.
Last 7 plate appearances, the Brewers have 3 hits and 2 walks. 2-run homer by Broxton, and now an RBI by Santana.
They're just not missing Walker's mistakes is what it is. I mean, he's made some good pitches, but the mistakes that he's made, the Brewers have made him pay.
I mentioned that 1.64 ERA in his first 2 innings. His ERA innings 3 on over 6 this season for Wacha. He's had some blow-ups.
Yeah, second time through. Opposition getting better swings.
Last start against the Cubs. That was a 7-6 Cardinal loss last Sunday. Pulls one on the ground. Chance for two. Carpenter to the bag at second. Diaz to Waka. And Shaw bounces into an inning-ending double play. But the Brewers take the lead. Domingo Santana squares one up. A line drive single that scores Sogard. All right, thanks a lot, Jeff. Good update. Bellinger, one of the big stories in baseball, is Dexter Fowler on the first pitch, sends one deep into right center, and that one is gone. And we are tied at 3 as Fowler goes deep for the 10th time this year. All of his home runs are as a left-handed batter, and he just squares it up.
Yeah, first pitch down and in, 88. Got a little bit too much of the plate. Actually looks like Bandy wants that away. Davies ends up throwing it middle in down, and Fowler able to drop the head of the bat on it, knock it out of here, tied up again. That's a dangerous spot to every left-hander, that down and in fastball.
Stephen Piscotty now. Piscotty had an RBI single in the first inning. You know, when they hit a home run, they send off some pyro, so there's a little smoke in the air, which actually sort of helps you understand where the jet streams are. So that smoke is kind of moving toward left center a little bit.
Is it? I mean, thought it was moving toward us.
Some of it is, I guess.
It did get a little smoky for a couple of seconds.
Swirling up here where we are. We're in the upper reaches, but looks like down on the field it's kind of moving out toward left center. There's a line shot, foul, just missed the line.
Yeah, a lot of times in these ballparks, the way they're constructed, the way the wind is blowing, when you look at the flags, not necessarily the way it affects the flight of the baseball. It's a nice breeze.
A freshening breeze, as we say. Piscotty fouls one back. Piscotty, as you mentioned, he has been a struggling hitter. He's had a lot of off-field problems that he has dealt with, and concern for his mother, who was diagnosed with ALS. A bouncer to third base. Shaw picks it up, and there is out number one. But you can understand Piscotty's mind. As much as he's grinding here with the Cardinals, it's a devastating illness to be diagnosed with ALS, and he actually spent a week away from the ball club to be with his mom.
Still thinking about her. It's got to be in the back of his mind all the time, for sure.
For any of you out there, or if you have family dealing with that disease, we certainly are thinking about you. And you know, baseball is trying hard, and a ton of fundraising opportunities to try to raise money for ALS research, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. And anytime you hear a story like that, it's a good opportunity to try to raise a little awareness. And if it's in your heart, make a donation to an ALS foundation.
Seems like you hear more and more, you know, instances of that disease these days than you did before.
I remember the old ice bucket challenge.
Right.
We did that.
Yeah.
A bit of a fad, but it did raise a ton of money and a lot of awareness. Sogard ranging over, and he'll take care of Jerko. 2 outs in the inning.
I know a couple of acquaintances of mine that have passed due to that disease, and not easy.
Yadier Molina now with 2 away. Had a single his last time up. Matter of fact, it was his base hit. The play in which Jerko was caught off second base, rounding too far on the throw in from center field on that base hit.
Yeah, you were surprised you didn't send Piscotty, and I think so was Jerko. I think he was thinking about going first to third, figuring the play was going to be at the plate.
Boy, who knows where that inning goes if Jerko does not run into an out there, because you're looking at bases loaded, 1 out with Diaz coming up. Help Davies get through it. There's a bouncer right to Thames, and 3 ground ball outs after the Dexter Fowler home run. We're all tied at 3. Davies has given up 3, but we go to the 4th. Brewers coming up. St. Louis. Don't forget, tomorrow, second round coverage of the 117th U.S. Open from beautiful Erin Hills. Coverage starts at 10 a.m. Central on FS1, continues at 5 Central on your local Fox station, or you can watch it live on Fox Sports Go all day long. That's what we were doing today. Watching the U.S. Open. How about Ricky Fowler? He goes bogey free, shoots a 65, matches the lowest round in relation to par in the first round in U.S. Open history.
Yeah.
Paul Casey is 66. Yeah, good names on the list. Brooks Koepka, I tell you, that's a guy to watch right there. He can hit it a mile.
That's a guy you were talking about yesterday. Wasn't Dexter Fowler, or I should Dexter Fowler. Ricky Fowler. I mean, didn't Zach Davies pick him?
I think he did have Ricky.
We had him on a bunch of guys on camera and talking about who they thought was going to win.
Well, the golf course is the winner today for sure. As Perez leads off for the Brewers. So proud of state of Wisconsin and that facility at Erin Hills. I mean, that golf course looked so great on Fox today. Shows up well on television. The fescue, the contrast in the golf course. I mean, it is really a cool venue. And then you add all of the huge stands and the USGA bannering and whatnot, and man, it's got a great feel to it. Looking forward to the rest of the week out there at the U.S. Open. Perez with a line drive base hit, clean single to start this inning. Brewers are sending a few guys over to the U.S. Open, I think tomorrow. Sophia has more on that story. Who's headed to Erin Hills tomorrow, Sophia?
Yeah, well, Zach Davies would like to get this start and come away with a win in a quick fashion, because he, Jacob Barnes, Oliver Drake are planning on getting to the course by 8 a.m. tomorrow. So they're going to have bright and early wake-up call, but they want to go for at least a few hours, check out some of the rounds, as you said. Davies' pick was Ricky Fowler. He's an avid golfer, golf fan. He and Barnes and Drake as well. So they're looking forward to going over there and seeing it for themselves tomorrow at Erin Hills.
Yeah, and I know Corey Knebel is planning a trip just for a couple of hours. I think these are all sports fans, these guys, and you get to experience a major championship like this. And if you've never been to one, it's quite the experience. So highly recommended. The first ever U.S. Open in the state of Wisconsin.
Well, they're hoping for a quick game. Zach Davies has a lot to say about that.
Yeah,
tonight.
right. Come on, Zach. Get on through here, and we'll all go tomorrow. Of course, you and I will be in heavy preparations for the San Diego Padres tomorrow. So no trip for us to the U.S. Open.
I'm going to be preparing some pranks for Mark Grant.
And preparing to get pranked by Mark Grant. That's more important.
Oh, Mud. We're going to see him tomorrow night.
Well, a couple of our favorite broadcasters coming in. Two of our good buddies, Don Orsillo and Mark Grant of the Padres, and San Diego coming to town. Trying to stay afloat in that very difficult National League West that has the three best teams in the National League right now. Isn't that something? Three best records in the NL are all in the same division.
Yeah, right.
Dodgers, Rockies, Diamondbacks. Bandy sends one to left. And there is Martinez for the out. One way. Dodgers had won 6 straight, as Jeff told you, until a loss today in Cleveland. Not a whole lot of long winning streaks going on in the big leagues right now. Boston's won 3 straight. Now Broxton steps in after his monster home run in the 2nd inning. On tonight's Powerball home run count, it is number 9, and maybe the most important number is 489, which is how far he hit it.
Well, the most important number was to tie the game.
That's a good point. See, that's why you're here, Rock. Providing perspective.
Yeah, you get the same amount of runs on a wall scraper as you do for 500 feet.
When the rest of us go fanboy, you can bring things right back to home. I mean, I really enjoyed seeing a 489.
Oh, I did too. Don't get me wrong. Especially what's in a Brewer uniform.
Tied the game, that 2-run shot. That was with 2 outs in the 2nd inning. Now, when he stands up there like he does, Broxton, and then he hits home runs like that, you can't help but think about the former Cincinnati Red, Eric Davis.
Right.
Eric the Red, who stood at the plate in a similar fashion. And he could hit some bombs himself.
Really quick bat. Yeah, just like Broxton, but Keon's got to make sure he gets the ball down a little bit.
And a big swing. So Broxton follows up the home run with a strikeout. Waka picking on that outside corner. And 2 gone now.
Yep, 95 miles an hour. And swings right through it.
That's strikeout number 4 for Michael Waka. Runner still at first, Perez. 2 gone now. Here comes Arcia. And Arcia to right field, a base hit. So a 2-out single, clean single for Orlando Arcia on the first pitch.
No, he loves that first pitch. That wasn't a bad cut fastball, though, from Michael Waka. Check it out, down and away. And I think he likes the ball down and away. I mean, not too many hitters like that. I remember Mark Loretta was the guy that liked the ball down and away. Serves it out there in the right field. Remember Lolo?
I
Boy,
do.
he could hit.
Yeah. Short, compact swing.
Yeah. Like that ball away. He could hit it hard down and away as well.
So it does clear Davies. No balls and a strike. Davies' little half swing, and he goes. And it's 0-2. Two outs in the inning. And Davies, look out. Boy, shoots one near the camera well over there. An extreme emergency hack.
Hanging in there.
Davies, as a hitter this year, is 1 for 16 at the plate. Does have a couple of walks. Down 0-2, 2 men are on. That's outside, ball 1. Perez led the inning off with a single. Arcia had a single to right. And Davies takes a called strike 3, and that will retire the side. 5 punch outs for Waka. Still tied at 3 as we head to the bottom of the 4th.
How about this play by Travis Shaw, Brooks Robinson-esque? Now the Brewers have turned double plays. They've made some nice plays by themselves, and it's been an amazing turnaround for the Brewers defense since the end of April. These guys have been tightened up the defense, the double plays. They lead the National League and making some nice running catches in the outfield. That's certainly something to smile about, and pitchers love it.
Here we go to the bottom of the fourth, all tied at 3. Ledmus Diaz will lead off for the Cardinals. Drove in a run with an infield hit in the first. Little squibber over to first base. Thames laid out for it and made a good play actually, but couldn't find the handle, and Diaz beat the throw and was credited with an RBI, the 2-run first inning. And he hits a shot right at Travis Shaw.
Yeah, they
sometimes
do
it
even
gives,
out, don't they?
sometimes you take it.
They even out, right? That little squibber off the bat. Down to first base, he got a base hit, then he hits a bullet, and Shaw able to grab it. Didn't even have to move. You know what they say in the dugout after you hit one like that? They've been there 100 years.
That's right. Yogi Berra used to say, I don't know why he hit it right there. There's always somebody there. Of course, that doesn't really apply anymore with all the shifting in baseball.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you can hit a line drive somewhere where there's only been somebody there for 6 months.
Line drives up the middle aren't necessarily base hits anymore.
As tough to hit right now as it has ever been. With all the shifting, specialty bullpens. Everybody's throwing hard. The velocity is crazy fast these days.
Starting pitchers going 5 innings, and then, as you know, after the 5th, you're going to face a different guy every time up. A fresh arm.
Scouting reports as they are. I mean, there are no secrets anymore. 2 balls and a strike on Jose Martinez. Cardinals with 1 out here in the 4th, all tied at 3. Fly ball right field, hit well. Santana with room, and there is the 2nd out.
Hey, bring Dad out to the ballpark for Father's Day this Sunday. The first 20,000 fans at Miller Park for the Brewers matchup against Padres will get a Brewers golf umbrella courtesy of Palermo's Frozen Pizza. Get your tickets today at Brewers.com.
2 gone. Here is Paul DeYoung now for St. Louis. 2nd at bat. Davey struck him out in the 2nd inning. 23-year-old second baseman DeYoung. He got in 12 games playing second and short earlier this year with the Cardinals. Had 10 hits in those 12 games. Hit .244. As I mentioned, hit a home run in his first career at bat for St. Louis. That was against Colorado. He was sent back to AAA Memphis this past Sunday and hit home runs in his first 2 games in Memphis after getting sent down.
Yeah.
That's how you handle a demotion.
Yeah, bring him up, bring the hot bat up, and you can bring a guy right back up if it's because of an injury. And that's what it was with Wong.
Top 10 in the Pacific Coast League in homers. Had 13 home runs at AAA. And that's saying something, playing half your games at Memphis. That Pacific Coast League is a very hitter-friendly ballpark on the West Coast, as in Colorado Springs and, you know, in the mountain time zone and up there in the elevation, and on the West Coast, balls fly out there. So to be in Memphis and be in the top 10 is impressive. That's a base hit. DeYoung singles. And a 2-out hit will clear the pitcher's spot.
Yeah, he learned something after his first at bat. Zach able to punch him out on the curveball. Davies throws him another one here, and he's able to reach down and get it. Actually, that was a changeup, not a curveball. Not a bad pitch, but DeYoung able to get down, level the bat, and rip it into left. And just like Archie with a base hit, and he clears the pitcher. for the next inning.
So Waka's up there with 2 away. And on the first pitch, a roller to Sogard. He'll glove it. And that'll do it for the Cardinals in the 4th. 4 in the books. We're all tied at 3. Final game of this series in St. Louis.
Cardinals tied at 3, and Beyond the Diamond is a series of community outreach events that will take place each month during the season, all of which involve partnering with BCF players, coaches, Brewers' wives, alumni, and team personnel working in the community. The community events will be funded in part by Brewers Community Foundation and focused on the areas of health, education, recreation, and basic needs. For more details, you can visit brewers.com/beyondthediamond.
All right, Sophia, thanks. We stand behind that one for sure, 100%. Good night for a little ice cream tonight on a hot night in St. Louis. Temperature in the 90s. Final game of this 4-game series. The Brewers have a chance to win this series with a win tonight. Could take 3 out of 4 from the Cardinals. We had a visit between innings with the great Al Raboski, the mad Hungarian.
He's the greatest.
Very pleasant these days.
Yeah.
Always good to catch up with him.
Known him forever.
Glad he stopped by. Does Cardinals television for a long time. He's probably got about as many years as you do, maybe more actually.
Yeah, maybe.
He's got about maybe 30 years as a broadcaster on their pre and post game show, and occasionally as an analyst as well. Always good to see Al.
Yeah, it's funny, you know, you talk to Al, you see him and you ask him how he's doing. He says, yeah, we're just not hitting, you know. It's like, I don't mean that. How you doing? You feeling good? How's life? They live and die with these Cardinals, don't they?
Yeah, for sure. They're not used to the lack of success that they are experiencing this year. Brewers are trying to keep them in a downward cycle right now. The Cardinals are under 500 at 30-34. 6th year for Mike Matheny. And he's known nothing but postseason appearances his first 4 years.
And we're going to have to start getting things together to think about another postseason experience. Got to get the bullpen worked out. Got to get some runs. And the Brewers are hoping that doesn't happen yet.
Two and two the count to Sogard, and a line shot that is fair, just on the line. Hits the side wall. Sogard's going to try it anyway. He's on his way to second. Throw comes in late. And Eric Sogard with a hustle double. 2 more hits tonight for Sogard, and the Brewers get the 5th inning started clean.
Yeah, that's going to put that batting average over 360 now for Sogard. He just keeps hitting. He's hitting everything, dumping curveballs in the left, fastball in, able to turn on it and just get it inside that right field line. Boy, this guy's something else. And in there with a leadoff double.
Was tumbling into second base.
Yeah, that's the benefit. You know, that RCA base hit with 2 outs in the 4th inning. You know, you get Davies up to the plate.
Well, now Thames delivers to right field, and they're going to hold Sogard. Piscotty's got a great arm. And sensing a big inning, perhaps, Ed Cedar puts the stop sign up. 1st and 3rd for the Brewers. Thames with his first hit of the night.
Man, instead of Zach Davies leading off the 5th, you got Sogard with a double. Now Thames with a single. And because of that big throwing arm from Piscotty and right, they hold him up. They don't want to make the first out at home plate.
Two on, nobody out. Santana will step in. Drove in a run his last time up. He hit a bullet to center field. RBI single. That gave the Brewers the lead. That lead was short-lived, though. Dexter Fowler homered in the bottom of the 3rd to tie it. That's where we are, 3-3. Each club with 7 hits. Brewers threaten here in the 5th. Two and 0 the count.
And you see Walker trying to crowd him with a fastball because he left one down the middle. He doesn't want Santana to get his arms extended.
Bullpen activity. That is Brebbia getting loose. Santana with a big cut. 2-1 now to Domingo. Santana's another one of the Brewers who started slow, very slow as a matter of fact. First 21 games he was hitting 169, but he's had a 330 clip over his last 43. That's over 150 at bats. Sustained success for Santana. Had a career high 9-game hitting streak earlier this month. Straightens him up. 3 balls and a strike.
Yeah, batting average was down early in the season, but the home run power was there. 5 home runs. The end of April hitting under 200, but he's turned that around.
The 11 home runs for Santana, tied with Shaw, 2nd on the ball club. He's in a hitter's count, and that one misses outside. Ball 4. The bases are loaded. Nobody out in the 5th inning, and the Brewers are knocking at the door in a big way against Waka.
Yep, and the next pitch for Waka is going to be number 90, and we're sitting here in the 5th inning with nobody out. One of the big reasons why the Cardinals have activity in their bullpen. Pitch count getting away from Waka tonight.
John Brebbia continues to get loose. Figure this would be the last hitter for Waka if he doesn't retire Shaw. Mike Matheny won't hesitate. Matter of fact, Mike Matheny's on his way to the mound.
And walking slowly, which means might be the end of the night for Michael Waka.
Well, that ended quickly for Waka. He retired the first 5 batters. He does not get an out here in the 5th inning, and now Matheny makes a call to the bullpen. A pitching change in the 5th. Brebbia will inherit 3 of Waka's runners. Brewers with a big opportunity here in the 5th inning in St. Louis. Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Mississippi River and Busch Stadium as the sun sets. Beautiful night here in St. Louis. Gateway to the west, the famous arch. And those are the numbers for Michael Wacha. Disappointing night for him, and such a promising start for him, having retired the first five batters he faced, but he is out with nobody out in the fifth inning. All three runners belong to Wacha for John Brebbia.
Hey, we saw him twice in that split doubleheader, game 1 and game 2. He throws pretty well. He's got a good fastball, a lot of sliders, which should play right into the hands of Travis Shaw, the left-hander.
Brebbia with Shaw up there, Perez to follow, and if the Brewers get to him, Jet Bandy. Nobody out, bases full. Sogard started it with a double. Thames a single, Santana with a walk. Shaw was huge in game 2 on Tuesday, twice giving the Brewers the lead. Hit his 11th home run early in the game to give the Brewers a lead, and then had a key RBI single off Trevor Rosenthal late in the 8th inning. Sends that one foul. He has been clutch for the Brewers. He's their best run producer, and he's bringing some pop to the picture as well. Look at this home run. It was off the starter Marco Gonzalez Tuesday night, game 2 of the doubleheader.
Yeah, lefties don't really seem to bother him too much. He's got the bases loaded, nobody out. He can do some more damage.
Down and in. 2-1 to count. We saw a lot of sliders out of Brebbia, Rock, as you mentioned, and a lot of ground balls out of Brebbia, and I'm sure that's what is the hope for Mike Matheny here, that he can get one on the ground and try to minimize the damage in this inning. 2-1, and Shaw hits it sharply through, base hit. Coming in Sogard. Here comes Thames. He'll wind it up. The throw to the plate, and Thames is out by a mile. Piscotty put one right on the number. One run is in, and the first out of the inning at home plate.
Yeah, a bit of a risk for Ed Cedar to send him. You never want to make the first out at home plate. That'll be a slider, a backup slider. He finds a hole. Thames a decent runner, but you know, we talked about the throwing arm of Piscotty. It's been very good. That was right on the money and no chance. Ed Cedar trying to be a little bit too aggressive with nobody out, and runs into an out.
It was interesting how close that ball was to hitting the bat of Shaw. So an out at the plate. The Brewers take the lead. Runners at first and third now for Hernan Perez, who pops it up foul out of play.
Yeah, but that was a perfect throw from Stephen Piscotty. Not only had a lot on it, but it was right on the money. Just like an RBI, saving a run.
Perez shows bunt, gets a bunt down, runner coming to the plate, the throw to the plate, and another out at home. Oh man, the Brewers are running themselves out of a big inning.
Well, not a good decision. That was a bunt for a base hit. You got to read it off the bat, and that was an easy out. You know, Brebbia is right to him. Not exactly sure why Santana's taking off. Throw to home plate and a dead duck at home. Brewers shooting themselves in the foot in this inning.
Man. Well, now 2 men are out.
Now that's not the call of Ed Cedar on that play. That's reading it off the bat. The base runner has to make that call himself.
Jet Bandy's up there with 2 outs now, 2 on. Well, if there was ever a spot you need a hitter to deliver for you, it's right now. The Brewers, even though they've scored and they have taken the lead, they're going to feel like they let a big one slip away unless Bandy can deliver right now. Runners take off. Molina's throw to third. Not in time. Well, you talk about risky. Travis Shaw with the stealth attack. Steals third base on Molina.
Did you see the jump? He got such a big jump. He realized this guy hadn't even thrown the ball. He stops almost, starts, and a perfect throw by Molina, but he's in there just barely.
Travis Shaw now has 7 stolen bases. Picks his spots wisely.
Perez has one too.
Yeah, Perez stole over 30 last year. Hernan now with 5 on the season, and now a base hit could deliver 2. Double steal for the Brewers. Bandy up there in a big spot. Runners in. The Brewers have taken the lead, and that one's on the edge. A strike.
I'll tell you, Martinez is very shallow in left. I mean, Bandy's got good pop in that bat. He's pretty shallow. That really opens up those gaps and that left field line.
Bandy hit a top spin fly ball out to Martinez in the 4th inning. He's 0 for 1. He walked and scored his first time up. Now he knows as well as anybody there's a little heat, even more heat on this at bat. Bases loaded, nobody out. The Cardinals would be thrilled to get out of here with only 1 run in. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And down he goes. Boy, that was one that got away for Milwaukee. 2 outs at the plate. And the Brewers only get 1 out of that, but they do take the lead 4-3.
Mobile, we check in on the American League Central. We start with the Twins catcher Chris Jimenez, who today went 2 for 4 with a pair of home runs, 4 RBIs to help the Twins win 6-2 against Seattle. And for Cleveland, Lonnie Chisenhall came in at 2 for 3. That home run was a 3-run pinch hit home run against the Dodgers. The Indians would win that one 12-5. And for the Tigers, JD Martinez, they're currently locked up in a game with Tampa Bay. He's gone 2 for 2, a double. That game is tied at 2. And again, the Twins leading that division. They have a 2-game lead over Cleveland and a 4.5-game lead over the Tigers.
All right, Sophia, thanks for that update. Yeah, some interesting teams sitting atop division standings right now. It's been a fun year so far. A lot of parity in the big leagues. And the Brewers, one of them. First place Brewers, the only team in the National League Central over 500. Brewers just took the lead. 4-3 Milwaukee on the RBI single by Shaw. And now Davies trying to shut down the Cardinals here in the 5th.
Now the Brewers continue to support Zach Davies with pretty good run support. 4 runs already, 5 innings.
And that ball's ripped into right field. Back Santana reaches up, pops in and out of his glove. Carpenter on his way to second, and he's in with a double.
Well, once again, that pitch middle away to Matt Carpenter is not a good idea, I don't think. I mean, he has hit every one of those pitches right on the nose. Santana goes back, got a glove on it, popped out, and another double from Matt Carpenter. Just no way to pitch this guy. I mean, inside he pulls it down the line, middle away, hits it hard, but he does pull everything. He's not really hitting anything to the opposite field.
Well, he's hitting with a lot of confidence right now. Pickoff play at second. Carpenter's just back. The Brewers do that very well. Certainly they are scouted that way, but even if you don't get an out, it's an important play. For just the idea that they execute the pickoff well keeps a lot of runners close to the bag. Sometimes it can save you a run.
Right. A lot of times that's why you do it, just to make that base runner aware that you're keeping an eye on him. Might not get that big lead. Good jump.
All part of what Craig Counsell calls the run prevention unit.
And you add to that the Brewers catchers that like to try and pick you off at second base. That'll minimize that secondary lead.
Fowler a swing and a miss. Fowler went deep his last time up, tied the game at 3, his 10th homer of the year. As a left-handed hitter this season, Fowler has 10 homers and 22 RBIs now. Drops a bunt down, foul. So as a right-handed batter, has not homered and only 5 RBIs. And it's about a third of the at-bats as a right-handed batter compared to a lefty, but has an extreme swing in power production from Fowler. Tying run at second, 5th inning. Davies had a long first inning to get through. It's been pretty efficient since.
And once again, it always seems to be that one bad inning. Yeah, that first inning tonight. And then he seems to settle down.
Davies gave up 5 hits in the first inning. Only 2 runs, could have been a whole lot worse. Hit sharply through, base hit. And Carpenter is coming in. And a bad throw by Broxton allows Fowler to second. So not only do the Cardinals tie it up, but Fowler advances. Puts the go-ahead run in scoring position.
Yeah, Brewers breaking down fundamentally here in this inning. Started with the base running mistakes and a base hit. The run's going to score. I mean, Carpenter's going to score every time on this. He takes off, balls to the right side, and we applauded Broxton hitting the cutoff man early in the game. Airmails Thames here and allows Dexter Fowler into second base.
Mistakes you can't make.
No.
All tied at 4. Here is Piscotty now. Nobody out. There's a strike, fastball. That's a fastball that Davies needs to find. It's a good sign that he's hitting that outside corner. That comeback sinker, he calls it, and it looks to a hitter like it's going to be a ball outside, and then it tails back over the plate.
And equally as effective when it starts on the inside corner, ends up off the plate, in on the hands.
Tried another one, missed with it. Well, for Davies, everything comes in pairs for him. He has this great changeup, but if there's no fastball command, then the changeup is not as effective.
One hadn't thrown too many.
Fowler at second base. Piscotty lines one to third, caught by Shaw. Fowler scampers back.
That was a changeup there, and Piscotty all over it. And remember, DeYoung hit a changeup in the left field for a base hit. Here's the change down the middle of the plate, and Piscotty hit it right at Shaw.
So the first out, and Davies will face one of his nemesis hitters, Jed Jerko. Finally got him out. Last time up, he hit a ground ball to second. He's now 10 for 15 career against Davies. Big swing and a miss. That was a curveball that time. Yep, this is the guy that Jerko has handled the best. And includes a home run in the middle of that 10-hit attack.
Yeah, you got to figure that the odds are in Davies' favor with those kind of numbers.
Ah. Settling back to the norm, you mean? Bullpen activity with left-hander Josh Hader. Been in the big leagues less than a week. Davies has given up 9 hits at this point, the most he's allowed all season. Gave up 9 against the Rockies in his first start of the year as well. Hit sharply to left field, coming in Perez. He's got it for the out. 2 line drive outs for St. Louis. And 2 going in the inning. Good fortune there for Zach. They saw Davies take a peek at that dugout. He's sensing the end is near. Every pitcher worth his salt wants to try to finish an inning in a spot like this, give his offense a chance to score and give him a win.
Yeah, not that Hader's out there as a situational lefty, but there's nothing but right-handers coming up.
Well, Davies' spot in the batting order is due up third, and you can bet Counsell would love to have Davies get through this inning, which will most likely be his last. Molina to deal with, though, on the first pitch. Liner fouling out of play. Yadier singled in the first inning, grounded out his next time up. Bounced out to Thames over at first. Molina is what you call a bear down hitter. He is a much better hitter in spots like this, in clutch situations when he bears down at the plate.
And dangerous to pitch him away unless you get it down. Looking to go to right field always, but particularly in these spots.
And Davies wants to bring Brett Bandy out now to have a chat. Well, as a catcher, Rock, you're working with a pitcher and you know he's not feeling on top of his game, trying to come up with the right formula to get through an inning.
Yeah, maybe Davies thinking about maybe coming inside or throwing that curveball. Remember, Davies threw 3 consecutive curveballs to Molina in the first inning. He got away with the first 2, but then he singled into center. When you pitch him in, you better get it in there.
One and one the count on Molina. Go ahead, run at second. Molina pulls one foul. He was ready to fire, wasn't he?
They were doing that, right? Coming inside, didn't get it in far enough.
You ever take into account, you know, a guy like Molina, who's one of the great, let's call him game plan managers as a catcher, when he's at the plate? Does that carry over?
Is he thinking about what would I call here? When you have a guy that covers the outside corner so well, most guys are not able to cover the inside corner as well, so maybe you think about going in there.
Yeah, Bandy's setting up inside.
Trying it again, maybe come in further.
And he gets it in there, and Molina fouls it away.
Man, when you come inside, you'd prefer to go up and in and not down and in. Down in the zone, easier to get to than upstairs.
Well, maybe he's got him sped up for that fastball. Does he try a breaking ball here? Maybe a changeup. Remember the two swings and misses at the big slow curveball of Davies in Molina's first at bat. It's always interesting how one at bat leads to the next. The memories that are there. See what he does. 1-2 curveball shot backhanded Arcia. What a play. Throw to first in time. Oh man, Orlando Arcia showing a little bit of that gold glove potential at shortstop. Big time play by the 22-year-old shortstop. And a gun to first. Molina is robbed.
All tied at 4, and this Saturday is Faith Day at Miller Park, presented by Thrive It Financial. The Brewers and Padres square off at 3 o'clock, and after the game, Mercy Me will perform a full-length post-game concert, free for all fans in attendance. For tickets and details, visit brewers.com/theme nights.
Well, here we go to the 6th inning now. Been an entertaining game. Some big home runs in this game. The two center fielders have gone deep, Keon Broxton and Dexter Fowler. And we are tied at 4 in the final game of this series. We'll see what Craig Counsell does here. The Brewers will have their pitcher due up third. So Broxton, Arcia, and the pitcher spot coming up. And we'll see if Davies continues or not. What a play by Arcia to finish.
No kidding.
The
Makes it look
Cardinal
so
fifth.
easy because of that big throwing arm. Now, he saves that arm a lot with that sidearm flip. Every now and again he'll make it interesting over at first base, but when he needs it, there is not a better throwing arm in all of baseball.
Got to put a stat cast on that throwing arm. That had to be up there in the 90+ mile-an-hour range. I mean, think about how long that throw is from the hole at short. And it had very little hump in it. Very little gravity effect on that baseball.
It has a good finishing kick.
Ground ball on a broken bat. Diaz with a low throw, but Broxton is out. And Brevy has done a nice job here. Here's the play again to end the inning and save a run.
Getting himself in position to throw right away, and basically flat-footed, no crow hop, and that is a rocket over to first.
Yeah, next time you're on a baseball field, go stand over there and see how far that is to first base. 150 feet, I guess. I would guess something like that.
Yeah.
Arcia had a base hit his last time up. Single to right. Well, regardless of who wins tonight, both teams are going to have very similar comments about the way the game played out, at least up to now. Both teams have had potential big innings get away. Cardinals did score 2 in the first, but they had 5 hits in the inning. Ran into an out at second base. Brewers scored in the 5th inning on 3 hits and a walk, but ran into 2 outs at the plate. Two and 2 to Arcia.
And there you have it. 17 hits combined in the game, only 8 runs. I say only. A lot of runs.
Yeah, 17 hits on the board already through the first 5 innings. Kevin Siegrist is getting loose. Rebbia's done a good job for Matheny.
Yes, he has. I mean, 3rd appearance in the series, and he pitched in both ends of the split doubleheader on Tuesday.
Ground ball up the middle. Diaz is there. Arcia is retired. 2 gone in the inning. And that is going to be the night of Zach Davies. He'll be pulled back for a pinch hitter. And Craig Counsell, who is operating with a 4-man bench, will bring on Lewis Brinson here with 2 outs in the 6th. So Davies goes 5, giving up 4 runs all earned on 9 hits, which matches a season high against Zach this year.
And did a good job minimizing damage, particularly in the 5th.
Brinson, the Brewers' #1 prospect, has been in the big leagues since Saturday. Got his first major league hit Tuesday. Brinson has power. Most feel he's going to be a 20 to 30 home run hitter in the big leagues at some point. And he takes a call at strike 3. Inning is over. Brebbia retires the Brewers' bottom of the order in order. Still tied at 4. He just continues to stack up the numbers at a very young age. And while he has impressive flow, Josh Hader's flow is right up there among the best in baseball. The hard-throwing lefty, one of the top pitching prospects the Brewers have, making his 3rd appearance.
Yeah, he pitched in Arizona, made his major league debut, a scoreless inning. Pitched Tuesday, came in, and a base runner for the Cardinals got caught stealing, so he didn't actually record an out at the plate, but he was credited with a 1/3 of an inning in appearance #3 here tonight.
Hader will face Aledmys Diaz, and then Martinez, and then DeYoung. 6, 7, and 8 in the batting order. This will be a nice window here for Hader. He's a starting pitcher, and the Brewers still expect him to be a starter in the major leagues, and an impact starter, by the way. But they're trying to minimize the innings this year and keep him on a good number, and pitching out of the bullpen and in contained settings in the minor leagues was the plan. So now might as well pitch him out of the bullpen in the big leagues, because he has an electric arm. He is tough to pick up. Gives you a little bit of that Chris Sale look on the mound. Slings it in.
Crossfire action. Pretty good pitch just off the inside corner. He did get a swing and a miss on a slider. That's going to be the important pitch for Hader as he works through his career. That secondary pitch, the slider, the changeup. Nothing wrong with that fastball, though.
95 with deception. He does that regularly. He'll pitch his glasses off. He really pitched his glasses off.
Say that slowly.
Which is a little unnerving for a hitter, right? Two and two the count. Seriously. His hair might have knocked him off.
Yeah, there they go.
Full count. Popped him up. Arcia waving off everybody else. And out number one. Hader retires Diaz. Let's check in with Sophia.
Well, Craig Counsell before the game said, we spoke about Hader, and he said we need to be cognizant of the transition period that he's going to go through. He's been a career starter, and now not only is he making his major league debut over the weekend, and so early in his big league career, he's doing it in an unfamiliar role. So he said, obviously, there's the physical element of getting ready faster, the game dictating when you're going to pitch versus knowing you're going to pitch every 5 days. And he said there's also the mental element of coming in and knowing that any pitch could change the course of the game. So he said those are all elements that Hader's going to have to experience, and the only way to do that is getting out on the mound.
Well, he's glad to be in the big leagues, regardless of whether it's the bullpen or as a starter, and he knows his place in this organization. He knows he's got a bright future, and he is highly regarded, so he's excited to be here and is going to take to this relief work, and who knows, he might be the magic potion down there for a beat up bullpen right now.
I figure he might be able to, you know, if he's able to be productive here or keep the Cardinals off the board, to eat up a couple innings. These experiences for these young players, you know, Brinson and Phillips, you know, Josh Hader, all these guys, invaluable experience as they work through their careers. And even if they get sent down, next time they come up, it won't be such a big deal.
Misses outside. 3 balls, no strikes on Martinez. Hader's numbers in AAA were not pretty. That is a difficult place to pitch, Colorado Springs. Gave up a lot of home runs, had a ton of walks down there. And it was as much to rescue him from hitter-friendly Colorado Springs as anything else.
Martinez swinging 3-0.
Tied at 4, 6th inning. And a back and forth ball game tonight. Brewers Cardinals. Cardinals jumped out early. Brewers were able to tie it, then take the lead. 3-1 pitch. Popped him up. Foul territory. Thames is over in the grass. And that'll be out number 2. Well, there's a great example of an electric fastball. He's in a 3-1 count. He still was behind on the swing.
Right, on a good fastball hitter. Hey, tonight's time of the game, the hiding place in Little Chute. That's the second Little Chute on this road trip.
Yeah, they're popular.
The hiding place. And if they call the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. It's offered courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Say hello to all our friends in Little Chute. Fastball right by Paul DeYoung. Power pitcher and a power hitter at the plate. Two young bucks here in the big leagues for the first time. He got in on his hands. 0-2 the count now. A scenario not too long ago, you could have seen these two match up in either Memphis or Colorado Springs in the Pacific Coast League.
Right, eats him up inside off the plate.
Hader trying to go 1-2-3 in relief of Zach Davies. The 0-2 pitch. Center field, Broxton coming in, and he's got it for the out. And Josh Hader with a 3-up, 3-down, 6th inning. Brewers are coming to bat. We go to the 7th, all tied at 4 in St. Louis. Here as Eric Sogard will lead the way for the Brewers. Well, he's been hot. What a player he's been. Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Sogard with 2 more hits here tonight. Slapped one into left field in the 3rd inning. And then came up in the 5th inning and hit a rope just inside the line. Hustled his way to a double just ahead of the throw from Piscotty. Sogard will lead off an inning for the 3rd time tonight. And a new pitcher coming up with the lefties for the Brewers rolled in. You'll have Kevin Siegrist out of the St. Louis bullpen.
Yeah, 3rd straight game for Siegrist. He came in, gave up the decisive run last night in the 7th inning. 28th appearance, an earned run average at about 4.5. He's only allowed to 3 home runs. Fastball changeup. He'll have a breaking ball as well for Kevin Siegrist.
Brewers have let 2 leads get away. Both of them 1-run leads. As Sogard takes a strike. It's the one problem with the Brewers lineup as it is, with Sogard and Thames back to back, and then Shaw, another left-handed hitter. If you do have a good lefty pitcher in your bullpen, this is the spot you see him. Can be tough on the Brewers. These aren't players you would pinch hit for either.
And the Cardinals have 3 lefties in their pen. A pretty well balanced bullpen, although they have struggled.
This is where Craig Counsell is anxious to get Jonathan VR back on track. He's on the DL right now. She left Sogard as a leadoff hitter, but there is a scenario you could have Sogard lead off on days that Thames doesn't play, or you might move him down in the order. Thames has thrived in the 2 spot in the order. Having Ryan Braun back in the lineup would change things as well.
Yeah, that wouldn't hurt.
That spaces it one more hitter. Sogard to left, to right, I beg your pardon. Back on it is Piscotty. 1 away. So basically, if you're Counsell, you're trying to separate the lefties as much as you can. And you don't mind back-to-back lefties, especially of this caliber when you got Thames, who's an everyday guy as well. But if Braun's in there, that bumps Shaw down to probably 5th, maybe, or could.
Problem is, those are your top run producers. I mean, they're going to be at the top of your order. But you're right about VR. If you have VR, you can have a switch here that can move back and forth based on whoever's out there. It makes it a little bit more difficult on the opposing manager.
Well, it does bear repeating that the Brewers left-handed hitters have hit lefties this year as well. Even though we're seeing a lot of left-handed specialty relievers come in these windows in this part of the order, Brewers have had success. And if you can clear that good left-handed pitcher this early in the game in the 7th inning, most of the closers and most of the setup men in the league are right-handed. So that gives you the matchup you want anyway. All stuff to think about if you're a big league manager in the National League when you're trying to put together a lineup.
And Thames has 5 home runs against lefties. And he has the ability to drive that ball to the opposite field. And he likes to do that, particularly against left-handers. 5 home runs, 8 RBIs against lefties.
MVP in Korea, home run champ Eric Thames, and it has transferred to the big leagues. Pushing near the top of the league, and that ball is hit hard. Oh, what a pickup by Diaz. Throw to first is low and dug out over there. Man, 2 excellent plays by Diaz, and then over to first with Carpenter.
It really had to move the legs, but the short hop was a tricky one. Kind of leaned out there and able to pick it, and a good job by Carpenter to get the out at first base. And good hands by Aledmus Diaz and by Carpenter.
A former middle infielder, Matt Carpenter. So 2 outs. Here is Santana now.
I guess it's safe to say that you have A+ defenders at shortstop in just about every team.
Yeah, especially in the National League Central. Think about Cozart in Cincinnati. As you see Santana at the plate, presented by Wendy's. Addison Russell with the Cubs.
Yeah. Jordy Mercer's pretty good over there at shortstop. Pirates, we're going to see him.
Pirates are coming in Monday. 3 with the Padres this weekend, and then the 4-game series with Pittsburgh. There has not been an error in this series so far. This is game 4. There's been a few misplays, double plays not turned, throwing to the wrong base, or missing the cutoff man, but no errors.
There's been mental errors, but not physical errors.
It's been broadcaster errors. 2-1. Santana hits it sharply. Diaz again. And that's the inning. Wow. 2 well hit balls right at Diaz, who makes a couple of beautiful plays. And the side is retired in order. And we go to the home 7th, stretch time in St. Louis. Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Beautiful sunset here in St. Louis and the famous arch. 4-4 game as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Josh Hader's back on the mound. A 3-up, 3-down 6th inning for Hader against the Cardinals. Tommy Pham's going to lead off. He'll pinch hit in the pitcher spot. Siegrist works a scoreless 7th inning. And then Hader will face Carpenter. Pham hits that one a long way to center field.
Broxton doesn't see it.
Yeah, Broxton's lost it now. Oh, it's Perez who comes over and makes the catch. What a play by Hernan Perez, who recognized that Broxton couldn't see it and somehow makes the play.
That's just incredible hustle by Hernan Perez, and that's just another reason why you like him so much, that baseball IQ. We're sitting here in twilight. Sometimes it's tough to see it. I think he right away realized that Broxton can't see it. He puts his hands up, and Perez right there for it, and pretty much straight away center field. Tremendous effort by Hernan Perez. Could be a game saver right there. Well done.
Boy, what a play. I mean, how much ground did he cover? Pham is out on the first pitch from Hader. Now top of the order, Matt Carpenter.
Well, this time of night can be just as difficult sometimes as that bright sunshine in your eyes. I mean, you look up there and sometimes it's difficult to see the baseball until the lights take full effect.
Ball and no strikes on Carpenter. So this is a matchup everybody's anxious to see in that Brewer camp right now. Your best pitching prospect against one of the great hitters in the game in Matt Carpenter, who is hot right now. And finally a lefty-lefty matchup against Carpenter. He's another guy that is an everyday man, right-handed or left-handed. And he cuts right through one. 1-2 the count.
Throw the slider in this situation. Don't hang it. You do him a favor. Throw it in the dirt. Down and away, or get that fastball up in the zone. Throw it by him. Carpenter hitting 167 against lefties.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Carpenter late, fouls it back.
Left the slider up.
Just missed outside. Two-two pitch. Carpenter lays off. Hader's been throwing mostly fastballs in this inning.
Well, he hung one slider, and that was a really good slider. That was a good take by Carpenter. I tell you, he keeps throwing them there. He's going to get a lot of swings and misses on that pitch.
Full count to Carpenter. Tie game at 4. We're in the 7th inning. And he lost him. He's one of the tougher at-bats in the league, and right now he's going well, and Hader issues a 1-out walk. That's going to bring up Dexter Fowler.
I had him 1-2 and just couldn't put him away. side of the plate where you want to face Fowler as a right-handed hitter.
Fowler is homered tonight from the left side. 2 hits from the left side tonight, and Hader sticks a fastball in there at 94. Penn's quiet. This is Hader's game for now. Remember, he has been a starter in the minor league, so he's certainly capable of pitching multiple innings.
Best option right now. He's throwing well.
Counsell would take as many as he can offer. Might even consider letting him finish if he was efficient. To the count.
A good pitch right there, in on his hands, getting a piece of Corey Blazer, the home plate umpire, but went right after him. Not messing around. You like the way he's aggressive in that strike zone, at least tries to. Not a nibbler by any stretch. Why would you with that kind of stuff?
Wearing 71 by request, Josh Hader. His spring training number. In the air, center field, shallow. Broxton sees this one, and he's got it for out number 2.
Man, got him on a slider. Good pitch. You like the fact that Bandy's trying to work that slider in there. It's a work in progress. There it is, right down the middle of the plate, 79 miles an hour. He takes a lot off of it, but able to get the pop out.
Two gone. Here comes Stephen Piscotty now. Had a single and an RBI in the first. He scored a run. He's thrown out a runner at the plate. A big throw to get a man in the 5th inning. That was the inning the Brewers had the bases loaded and nobody out. That throw to the plate was the first out. Two 2-0 on Piscotty. Hader was drafted and signed by the Astros. He was part of that deal, the Carlos Gomez, Mike Fiers deal, one of the 4 that came from Houston to Milwaukee. Back when Brewers GM David Stearns was the assistant GM in Houston. He was on the other end of that deal, the acquiring end. There's a strike.
And dropped the breaking pitch in there. The more you throw it, more confidence you get in it. I would imagine at some point he's going to start throwing a little bit harder. Takes a lot off of that pitch right now.
Inside. Hader was actually drafted by the Orioles, signed with the Orioles originally. Orioles traded him to Houston in the Bud Norris deal, and then he ends up going from Houston to Milwaukee. That original deal was at the trade deadline in 2013. He was just a young lower level minor leaguer then. He walks Piscotty. Second walk of the inning. Now the Cardinals have 2 on with 2 out, and Derek Johnson, the pitching coach, on his way.
He does attack home plate when he starts to get ready. Everything, all arms and legs coming at you. And once in a while, those mechanics get out of sync a bit. Can't find the plate. Still no activity in the pen. Why not? Yeah, leave him out there. He's throwing well. Just got to find the plate. There's not allowed to hit.
You like his nickname there on his glove, Rock?
What is it? I can't see.
Haterade.
Yeah, I do.
In orange.
Never had my name on my glove stitched in.
Oh, is that right?
No.
Until you became a famous broadcaster, courtesy of our friends at Spiders.
That's right.
So Hader with 2 on now. In a spot. Jed Jerko at the plate. Got to be careful on the first pitch with Jerko. Carpenter at second. Piscotty at first. Jerko has a hit tonight, 1 out of 3. Lined out sharply last time up. Hit a bullet to left.
I just started with a changeup.
Hader is a Maryland native from Millersville, Maryland. Drafted by the hometown Orioles. Made a decision to sign with the Orioles as opposed to going to junior college and get his pro career started. And here he is in the big leagues for the first time at age 23.
And in a tie game in the 7th inning and pitching well.
One and two now. Hader deals inside. Cardinals tonight have had 9 at-bats with a runner in scoring position. They have 4 hits. 4 for 9.
3 of them in the first inning.
14 for 31 in the series. 2 and 2. And a foul off the foot of Jerko.
And you got to figure with as tall as he is and everything coming at you, all arms and legs, it's got to be difficult for the hitter. You know, to see the ball early. Now the hair flying around, the baseball coming at you very quickly out of the hand.
Two. Hader's ready. Got the sign he wants. 2 men on. Hader deals and a fly ball into left. Got in on the label. And Perez is right there to make the catch. Hernan made a terrific catch on a ball lost in the sky. Hader ends up pitching 2 scoreless. Might we see him again in the 8th? We'll see. running away from it yesterday.
That's what heroes do, like you said.
Well, here we are in the 8th inning, and it's 4-4. Travis Shaw leads off. He'll be followed by Perez and then Bandy. On the ground through a base hit. Travis Shaw has another hit.
Well, Trevor Rosenthal had been throwing the baseball pretty well until game 2 of that doubleheader where he did not get an out. Gave up 3 runs, couple of hits, couple of walks, and there's that fastball down, and Shaw able to find the hole in the right. So a leadoff single from Milwaukee to start the 8th. Rosenthal with that good fastball, the changeup to go with it, and he got belted around pretty good last time he faced Milwaukee.
Hernan Perez now. Well, if the Brewers go on to win this game, the play of the night is going to belong to Hernan Perez. As good as Arcia has been, that play on the fly ball to center field where Perez ran all the way from left. Broxton had lost it in the dusk, and Hernan ran it down somehow. First of all, just to recognize that Broxton was having trouble with it.
Never assuming that somebody else is going to make the play. I mean, that's the only thing that made that play for Perez. Ran hard after it right away, realized that it wasn't going to be caught by Broxton. He made the play.
Chance for 2 here. Goes 4-6 over to first. Perez beats it out. Well, he runs well and able to avoid the double play. That's the 3rd time he's beaten one down the line to extend innings.
A couple of times we've seen, you know, in this series, maybe 3-4 times where you thought that the Cardinals were going to be able to turn a double play. They didn't. Perez just busted down that line. Everything looks good here, but Hernan beats it at first base.
It's as good as the Cardinals could turn it. Perez busting it all the way, though. That's big. Keeps a base runner on and the inning alive with some potential here for Jet Bandy.
And the potential for a stolen base here.
Perez already has a steal tonight, his 5th of the year. Getting the numbers from Carlos Subero. It's all a game of math when you're talking about stealing bases. Pitcher's time to the plate plus the catcher's time to second base, what they call the pop to pop.
Well, the math behind home plate doesn't work out very well for you with Molina, but Rosenthal relatively slow to home plate. He's got that high leg kick. He might be able to get a good jump because Molina throws well. Gets rid of it quickly. Above average down to second base.
In the air, right field, hit well but slicing, and that's going to end up in the seats. Got the barrel on that 100-mile-an-hour fastball from Rosenthal, but a little bit late.
And he just couldn't throw strikes in game 2 of that split doubleheader. Walked the first 2, gave up a couple of hits. He was gone. Ended up giving up 3 runs. There's his numbers, 380 earned run average, including that last outing against Milwaukee.
Oh, and 2 the count on Jet Bandy. Probably at the point right now, based on what we've seen the last 2 games out of Rosenthal, take a shot at the fastball and he throws something off speed in there for a strike. He's going to win.
And normally that's the changeup.
Just missed badly with a changeup. Everything's up in the zone. 1-2 pitch and a high fastball. Takes it to 2-2.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you're facing a guy like Rosenthal, anybody that throws that hard, you got to be sitting heat. Got to be sitting fastball. And if they throw something other than that for a strike, I mean, it becomes very difficult. That's what makes Corey Knebel so hard to hit. You know, the consistency with the curveball.
2-2. Bandy in the air to right. Long run for Piscotty. Out is the second baseman, DeYoung, and that'll bounce. And Bandy will see another pitch. Jets trying to fight his way out of a little slump lately. Well, it's turning into a significant slump, actually. He is now 1 for his last 32. He's now hitless in his last 18 at-bats. He's been drawing some walks, though, so he has been getting on. He did walk and score in the second inning. Good time to bust out right here. He's got some power. And he takes ball 3.
And has shown to be a very good low ball hitter, particularly down and in. But Rosenthal likes to work that fastball up in the zone.
Pitch number 8 coming for Rosenthal against Bandy. One man out in the inning. Up the middle, gloved by Rosenthal, fires to second, got to go to the bag to retouch it.
That's just not knowing who's running. That's the problem right there for Rosenthal. There's no reason why he had to be that quick to second base. You got Jet Bandy running. Threw it off the mark. That's one of those plays that should have been made. Not going to be an error. Diaz able to get the out at second base, but it should have been a double play, giving the Brewers an extra out. You do not have to be that quick with Jet running.
A smart play by Diaz, too. Coming off the bag, makes the catch. I thought he might go to first for a minute. He wouldn't have gotten the out at second, but go through the normal rhythm of that, which would have had a Brewer in scoring position, but he made the right play.
Yeah, that's why he did.
Broxton, center field. Sounded like it was off the end of the bat a little, and Rosenthal puts up a 0 in the 8th inning. Just missed it, did Broxton. 4-4 game, Cardinals coming to bat. So a tip of the hat for Josh Hader. He gets through 2 innings, did walk 2 batters, but 2 scoreless innings. And Torres is on to pitch, and his job is to try to get this one to the 9th, still tied.
Yeah, tossed a scoreless inning last night in the Brewers' victory, a scoreless 7th inning. Yeah, walked a batter, hit a batter, but did not allow a run.
Yadier Molina will lead off. Molina, Diaz, and Martinez. First ball swinging, Yadier, and he fouls it back.
This is normally Jacob Barnes territory, tie game in the 8th, but he's been thrown a lot. Leave it up to Carlos Torres.
Brewers DFA'd Neftali Feliz yesterday to get Matt Garza back on the active roster. Feliz designated for assignment. Now Paulo Espino is here and available, and that is the long-range extra inning option for Craig Counsell. He's a guy that has been a starter in the minor leagues and can give you some length. So you start to think backwards in your bullpen, and knowing Counsell like we do, he's always thinking about the 9-inning victory. He wants his best pitchers, short-term pitchers, in a game like this to try to win it in 9, and then he'll make that play at some point with Espino. But it's nice to have a guy like that available.
Yeah, play the 9-inning game and then you scramble from there. I think most managers do that.
That's off the glove of Thames. Sogard makes a great play for an out. Wow.
Man, there's been some tremendous plays defensively by the Brewers tonight.
How many hits has Molina been robbed of in the last couple of nights? You can add one more to it. Look at this.
Now, you know the other thing about this play, Carlos Torres never given up on the play. He's able to get to first base, but that's a tremendous effort by both Sogard and Torres, and Thames has started to knock it down. And Molina said, what do I got to do to get a hit around here? The Brewers defense, how about them?
That's
just a
stellar.
great play by Sogard and Torres to not give up on it. A lot of guys are going to stop once that ball is deflected. He just kept going.
Satisfied nod right there. How do you make a play barehand and a throw like that right on the mark to a moving target? I mean,
he just
made it look easy.
Just flip it to the bag. I mean, and you hope the pitcher's going to get there.
Something special.
Yep.
We've seen a lot of them. We could put together a whole highlight reel of potential game-saving plays in this one. Arcia a couple of times. That great play by Perez on a ball that was lost in the sky. Thames laid out for one. Now Sogard's on the board. One away for Diaz. Now maybe that'll give Torres a little bit of a boost as well. He made a good pitch there on Molina. And when you're a struggling pitcher, you want those weakly hit balls or balls that are hit at position players to turn into outs. Fly ball to right. Long run Sogard. Santana's got a long way to go too, and that falls foul. So much ground to cover out there.
Well, they're playing deep. They're playing no doubles late in the game, and no way Santana's going to get there. And then you have Sogard playing up the middle. No man's land.
Two-two to Aledmys Diaz. In the dirt. Good block back there by Jet Bandy. Just in case. You never know when they're swinging or not.
Every time with 2 strikes. 2 strikes, 3 balls. Always have to block it.
Diaz hit a 2-run home run last night in the 8th. He's got some power. Got to be careful here. 3-2. Pop foul and out of play. He's just a tick late on that Torres offering at 94 miles an hour. This is as hard as Torres has thrown in a while.
Yeah, maybe going away a little bit from the cut fastball because it really hasn't been that effective this year so far. There have been times for sure, but last year just about every time out.
Full count with 1 away. Oh, he's hanging tough.
You just got to find something that might work for you. If something's not working, try something else. You don't stick around in the big leagues as long as Torres not being able to adapt Try and find something that's going to work for you.
And he lost him. Diaz with a good battle. Draws the walk. Go-ahead run is on here in the 8th inning.
Yeah, last 3 base runners for the Cardinals have all got on base with a walk. 2 in the 7th now. Here in the 8th with 1 out.
In the dirt. Jose Martinez is 0 for 3 tonight. A spot where Torres needs a double play ball. All tied up, 8th inning. Final game of the series. The Brewers won the middle 2 games. Cardinals shut out the Brewers 6-0 in game 1. And Martinez was the star offensively in that game. He drove in 3 of the 6 runs, including 2 homers. If you're thinking about a double play, Martinez has bounced into only 1 this year. He's a guy that hits the ball in the air a lot. That uppercut swing. Two and 1.
And the Brewers have turned 76 double plays, now tied with the Colorado Rockies. Big part of their defense, the double play ball.
In there, a strike. Might have got a call. Torres aiming for that inside corner. 2-2 now on Martinez. That's a big pitch. You get that call instead of 3-1. Now you're in a 2-2 count.
And especially when the catcher's setting up outside, a lot of times you're not going to get that pitch.
Maybe the tide turning his way. Looking ahead to the Brewer 9th inning. Arcia will lead off. Then we'll have a pinch hitter in the pitcher spot, and then back to the top of the order in Sogard, who has 2 hits tonight. Torres trying to get the Brewers there, tied at 4. 1 away, 8th inning. Cardinals have the go-ahead run at first. Full count. We'll see how long Counsell will stick with Torres. He's got Drake loosening in the bullpen. If you're wondering where Knebel and Barnes are in a game like this, a pretty good chance that they are not available tonight.
They probably would have been in at this point.
Heavy workload lately. And a game tomorrow. No days off for a while for the Brewers. Runner goes. Swinging a foul out of play.
Jared Hughes might not be able to pitch tonight.
Yeah, you could see where 3 pitchers would be down. And while the Brewers did enjoy the off day Monday in St. Louis, you come right back with a doubleheader, which got into the bullpen a little bit.
None of them look like they might get up anytime soon.
Long battle with Diaz, now a long battle with Martinez. Diaz drew a walk on a 3-2 count after fouling off a number of pitches. Well, he was running last pitch. Let's see if he goes again. Bandy has a very strong throwing arm. Brings in that strike him out, throw him out option. There he goes. Swinging a ground ball. Shaw going to second and out at second, and a double play. Risky play by Shaw, but Sogard stood right in there, and the Brewers go around the horn and turn a 5-4-3 double play.
That's a good effort by Travis Shaw. If you don't get the out at second, you're still going to be able to get the out at first. So the Brewers turn their league leading 77th double play to get themselves out of a jam.
Cardinals are taking a look, see if the out was at second, and they will not challenge. Inning is over. Torres gets the big double play ball when he needs it. We go to the ninth, all tied at 4. Brewers coming to bat.
Seen some tremendous defense, and particularly good defense in this inning. Look at this play. Deflection from Thames over to Sogard. He flips it to first, and Torres is able to make the play. And then the big double play to get Carlos Torres out of a jam. With Diaz running on the pitch. A 5-4-3 double play to get him out of it. Defense tonight has been exceptional.
Sungwon Oh in the game. The Cardinal closer will get the ninth inning. Orlando Arcia with a big swing and a miss at the first offering.
28th appearance and a 3.00 earned run average. Not a save situation, of course, but he's got 15 of them. Another guy with a good changeup.
Oh, built up legendary status in Korea. Ended up in Japan for a couple of years before coming to Major League Baseball. There's a bunt by Arcia, rolling foul. Not a bad idea.
Great idea to lead off the inning. Watch how late he squares around, and see Jed Jerko playing behind the bag. You get that in fair territory, it's a hit.
One and two the count. Oh, deals to Arcia, and a slow roller, foul. Arcia trying to get on. The Brewers trying to break this tie in the ninth. And a line shot right at Diaz. We've seen a few of those tonight from both teams.
Yeah, right. Right in his tracks. Didn't have to move.
Now back home tomorrow. The Brewers will head to Miller Park. Miller Lite, what's on tap? 6:30 is airtime for Brewers Live. Miguel Diaz for the Padres against Junior Guerra. Opening day starter on the mound for the Brewers tomorrow. Hope you'll make plans to be with us. could enjoy a great day of U.S. Open golf and then make it to Miller Park for a night game tomorrow night. I'm sure there'll be a lot of folks doing both tomorrow. Here's Aguilar pinch hitting for the Crew. So Torres goes an inning. Aguilar pinch hits for the Brewer reliever. Scoreless inning for Torres with a walk.
It was interesting to watch Torres go about his business tonight with those four-seam fastballs, something we haven't seen much of him to this point.
Yeah, with some velocity, hit 94 miles an hour tonight.
He was effective with it.
No balls, 2 strikes. Aguilar pulls one through for a base hit. Jesus Aguilar in a pinch hit appearance, singles, and there is the potential go-ahead run in the 9th inning.
And now the tying run coming to the plate. Yeah, pitch out away from him. He's able to hook it. And those long arms, and gets the extension and able to find the hole into left field. There's your go-ahead run. Top of the order coming up.
Sogard with 2 hits tonight. He scored twice. If you're wondering why Craig Counsell's not pinch running for Aguilar, he does not have that option right now. He's playing with a 4-man bench anyway. He's already used Brinson, and you certainly don't want to dig deeper in case this game goes much further.
And you got Franklin and Pena left.
No balls and a strike. Sogard takes a ball high. Eric making his 20th start for the Brewers here tonight. And other than just a brief spell of a slump at the plate on this road trip, a little bit at the end of the homestand and then earlier on this road trip, he pulled right out of that, no problem.
Was it 2-3 games?
It felt like it.
Not a slump.
Hardly a slump. I guess when you're not getting 2 hits a night, it feels like a slump.
Yeah, right. 1 hit, 1 for 4 is a slump.
2 for 4 tonight for Sogard. Well, he's got a great eye, and he has worked it into a 3-1 count now. Eric started the year in AAA. He hit down there, hit 330. Had 3 homers, 17 RBIs. When Braun went on the disabled list the first time, Sogard was the call-up. Hitters count. That's a strike. Full count now.
And first pitch in on Sogard there. Everything away. 3-1 pitch in on his hands. How do you run here? Sogard makes pretty good contact.
Yeah, with 1 out. Be a big choice. Try to stay out of a double play on the ground. Oh, there goes Aguilar, and Sogard pops it up foul territory. A lot of room over there, and Molina's got it for the out. Aguilar was running, but Sogard pops it foul. Second out of the inning.
Well, a swing and a miss there. That would have been an easy double play. Not very good jump by Aguilar. Another pitch inside, and Sogard not able to get the bat head out. Easy pop up and foul ground.
Well, that location of the fastball, right? If it leaks over the plate just a little bit,
yep.
Different story, but that's why these guys are where they are. Here's Thames. This is a matchup. We talked about it the other day, but this is a matchup that all the baseball fans in Korea love to see. These two did not compete against each other in the KBO, but both legends in their own right, in their own time. Big hack by Thames. 0-2 the count. Brewers have the go-ahead run at first. Aguilar with a pinch hit single. Still there. 0-2 pitch. Spoiled foul. And that's a shot right field. That is going to be up. Oh, and it's gone. It hit the top of the wall and goes out. And Eric Thames with a 2-run shot. The Brewers have taken the lead in St. Louis.
Well, how about that on a no-2 count? Eric Thames coming up big right off the top of the wall and right. Bounces over. High fastball, outer half. He hooks it. He was waiting for it, and watch this carom. Right off the top of the wall and out of here. So the Brewers with a 2-run lead.
What a moment for Eric Thames. One of his signature moments of the season at this point. Number 18 for Eric Thames. Well, that dugout is fired up.
Yep, on an 0-2 pitch. How about that?
Fouled off a tough pitch from and then delivered one over the wall and right. Brewers lead by 2. Here is Santana. What a moment in St. Louis. The Brewers a chance now to win this series.
He was waiting for that fastball, got the bat head out and strong enough to be able to hook it down the line. Outer half, hooked the line drive and just barely able to get it over the wall.
18th homer of the year for Thames, 35 driven in now as Santana a swing and a miss. And if there was any question if Corey Knebel is available for a save, the answer is a definitive no.
He hadn't moved all night.
Oliver Drake is going to get that chance for the Brewers in the 9th inning. Can't imagine what must be going through his mind right now.
Well, you just hope he just can't wait to get out there. That's what Counts was hoping for anyway.
Santana strikes out. And here we go to the bottom of the 9th. The Brewers get a 2-run bomb from Eric Thames. Hits the top of the wall and out of here. 6-4 Milwaukee. 3 outs away from 3 out of 4 in St. Louis. Brewers baseball tonight on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. We are headed to the bottom of the 9th inning. This has been a thriller so far. Brewers got down early. Council makes a double switch here. Thames hit the home run to put him ahead. He'll keep Aguilar in the game at first. And Oliver Drake is going to get an opportunity to close the game in the big leagues. He's had 2 chances in his career. Does not have a major league save. But Rock, he has been a minor league closer in the past.
Yeah, had 31 saves in Double-A. That was back 2014. Not sure that's going to help him tonight, but we'll see.
Hey, finishing games is finishing games, right? Drake will have the bottom of the order to start it. DeYoung, the 8th place hitter. Have a pinch hitter due next. Looks like Chad Huffman has already moved on deck. And then to the top, and Matt Carpenter. Of course, Matt Carpenter is going to hit in this 9th inning.
Right. There's a good splitter right there with something on it. Man, Drake last pitched on Friday against the Diamondbacks. So it's been a while for him, so he should feel pretty fresh.
Drake, a splitter specialist. He can do a few things with that split finger fastball. That one's up in the zone at 93. And a strikeout of DeYoung. He went with a fastball that time. 1 man out here in the 9th inning.
Now the fastball is set up with that good split. He threw the split a little bit harder than we've seen in the past. Not exactly where Bandy wanted it, was it? Look at Bandy standing up almost. And that one almost down the middle. Got away with it.
Oliver Drake, out of the United States Naval Academy. Chance at a big league save here tonight. Chad Huffman's going to pinch hit. He has 2 hits in this series, both as a pinch hitter. There's strike 1. Drake had a save opportunity in mid-May in San Diego. Nothing like this. 9th inning, 2-run lead. And it is his inning. There's a swing and a foul. He came back to the fastball. There was a couple of years there where he was, as Rock mentioned, a closer in the minor leagues. In the Orioles organization, in Double-A, had a 31 save season in 14, and then he backed that up with a 23 save season in 2015 in Triple-A. And that season, his ERA was 0.82 the whole year in Triple-A.
Yeah, that's not bad, huh?
Telling you what, that's 42 games he pitched in.
And when you have that splitter going, I mean, that's one of the toughest pitches to hit. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The problem is it's so tough on the arm. That's why a lot of guys don't try and throw it.
That was the year as a 28-year-old that he put himself on the map. He struck out 66 batters in 44 innings that year and a 0.82 ERA. 1-2 the count. And a strike called on the outside corner. Drake rings the bell on Huffman, and back-to-back punch-outs here in the 9th.
Well, you know he was looking for that split right there. He almost chased it the pitch before, and catching the outside corner with it is Drake. Back-to-back strikeouts right on the outside edge at 93.
2 up, 2 down, 2-run lead, which means Carpenter comes up as the potential final out. And for a guy that has destroyed Brewer pitching all series long, a bit of redemption in place for Milwaukee pitchers right here.
Due to make it out.
Carpenter has been on base 3 times tonight, 2 hits, both doubles. Had a walk against Hader in the 7th. Brewers are trying to get to the finish line tonight without their 3 best relievers available. Hader gave him 2 big innings, the bridge innings, after the starter Davies was removed through 5. Hader went the 6th and the 7th, Torres the 8th. And now Oliver Drake.
So many good things about this game. Just got to finish it off.
Always loads it up in that splitter grip. 1-1 pitch. In there, a strike.
Yeah,
Fastball's been good.
Yeah, looking splitter again, I think. Either that or it was right at the knees. And Carver didn't want anything to do with it. Right at the bottom of the strike zone. Now let's see if we can chase that split here.
I was thinking the same thing. He's got dirt. He's gotten strikeouts on the fastball, but see what he does with Carpenter. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cardinals down to their last strike, and it is a fastball, and Carpenter pops it foul and out of play.
I tell you, Torres doing things he doesn't normally do, and Drake, you can say the same thing. I mean, he usually relies heavily on the split, but not really in this inning. I haven't thrown one to Carpenter yet.
A strike away from his first career big league save, which would send the Brewers to a series win. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Carpenter, a little lazy fly ball. This should do it. Perez will make the call, and the ball game is over. The Brewers beat the Cardinals, short-handed as they are. Oliver Drake with his first major league save, and does it in convincing fashion. 1-2-3 with 2 punch-outs.
Now, where do you begin with this game? I mean, defense incredible. The offense able to bounce off the mat after falling behind 2-0. And I'll tell you what, the Brewers able to pick up this victory without 3 of their top relievers available. Hughes, Barnes, Knebel, and they're able to come off with a series win. Look at Counsell actually breaking a smile here tonight.
Yeah, he's got reason to smile.
You feel like you stole one in that situation.